Hidely ho, viewerinos! How are you all doing on this Tuesday? Welcome to another fabulous edition of Tinfoil Tuesday, brought to you by your fabulous host, myself, Hannah. How are you all doing? Good, I hope. I see we're already on the middle of a hype train. Level 1 was just complete. We're at 55% to level 2. Remember, as we go up in levels of the hype train, I will don my tinfoil garb and armor to protect myself from all the stupid we are going to deal with today. So, let's go ahead and see what's going on in chat. I did fix the title. Thank you, Halloween Town. Tucker White says, I think Bugs Bunny had the right idea. Yeah, I saw the Florida thing. We're not talking about that today because that's depressing. And I don't want to talk about that. I don't. Zarek Shadow with 50 bits says, bad medical take from someone you cover. Oh no, who's this? Jermaine. Wait, who's... Oh, it's the Native Patriot guy. Caught the coof in November of 2020 and still have not recaught it. Also, I am unvaxxed. Wonder why I haven't recaught it if... Oh, no. I hate these people. I wonder if he still doesn't have friends in Texas. What else? JP Black 79, thanks for 6 months. Is that music too quiet? I'll turn it up a little. JP Black 79 says, rounding out the second trimester working on the nursery, on an interesting thing on an interesting thing is the Great Reset is trending super hard on Twitter this evening. Oh, Lord. I assume that has to do with, cutting off, gas or oil from Russia, and they're concerned about high gas prices, and they think it's some sort of tool of the deep state in order to... usher in the Great Reset, which I still, frankly, don't completely understand what they think that is. AWOL Doggo, thank you for 6 months, says thank you for your streams and this community. Well, thanks for being a part of it. Broha, thanks for 9 months, says, 'tis a special day. That's a stream baby. This stream baby's name is going to be... Archibald Ludwig Van Allen. Archibald Ludwig van Balen, or whatever I said. Quiet 185, thanks for 14 months, says, howdy, y'all. Tea with Goblins, thanks for gifting a sub. Neemsor Kolboth, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Woohoo Lulu, thanks for gifting 2 tier 1 subs to the community. Tucker White says, but you're a lizard person, Hannah. Why do you need tinfoil protection? It helps seal in the moisture. My skin gets very dry underneath this human suit. Bittergrin with 100 bits says, the title has me picturing interdimensional robot gorillas now. Yeah, nice. Oh, Robert Morley. That'll do it. Robert Morley comes in with 10,000 bits and says, your hype train bit sugar daddy is here for you. Today's word is wowzers. I'm starting to think you have a wowzers fetish, which is fine. We don't kink shame here. No, seriously, thanks for the bits, though. I appreciate it a lot. Briar Rose 1984, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Tucker White with 45 bits says, F you, Robert Morley, for taking my bits lead. He didn't just take it. It's his now. He didn't just possess it. It has now been destroyed, and it is now his. Just be rich, like him, obviously, Tucker. It's that easy, okay? 366% to level 5. There's still a little under 2 minutes left, which, you know, add to it as you'd like. That number can go up as high as you want, but that is level 5, so I'll start putting on the tinfoil. Rageology with 200 bits says, tinfoil, tinfoil, tinfoil. I also enjoy tinfoil. That's my fetish. It's not. It's not. Robert Morley says, to Tucker White, you're now my bitch. True. True! Where did the true thing start? Jake says true. I say true. Sarah says true. Alex says true. Why? But, like, was there an origin for Jake doing that? Or was it just a thing he started saying and then it became a meme? True. Might have been Vosh? Okay. I have no idea. I look good today. I actually have a full face of makeup on. Well, I don't have eye makeup on other than lash mascara, but otherwise, you know, I went to go see a friend today that I haven't seen in about 10 years, which was fun. She's doing well. She's a lawyer now. Talked to her about sovereign citizens a little bit. Princess Amelia, thanks for 15 months. I don't know, and I can't guarantee this would ever be a thing, but if I could get my friend who's a lawyer on someday to talk about sovereign citizens with me, would that be interesting content? Old enough to know better now, thanks for 22 months. Says, I finally got approved for bariatric surgery on Thursday. Wish me luck, everyone. Oh, nice, good for you. Purple Nickel, with 100 bits says, let's get ready for foil! And Blackwing Hecate says, I heard it with him first, shrugs. Manneking, thanks for raiding. Welcome, raiders. Go check out the Manneking here on Twitch. That was a kick-ass hype train, everyone. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. There we go. I look fly as fuck. And if you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. Zeitgeist75 with 100 bits says, there's a movie called Secret Space by a guy called Chris Everard. You should check it out someday. It ties 9/11 aliens, the Illuminati, and David Icke in one movie. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah, get your bingo cards ready. We are doing conspiracy bingo today. Of course. As we do. Where did my other glove go? Or I guess the other thing. It doesn't really matter. We'll do this. Yeah. Once I get this one on and find the horns, we're all set. Oh, they're on the ground. You think I'm the only person in the world who, like, was able to comp this as a tax write-off? Has anyone... No! Probably strippers. Probably strippers. Or, like, if you work at some kind of, like, sci-fi, Western-themed Tex-Mex restaurant, maybe? I don't know. El Senor Lasers, Big House of Burritos. I'm your server this evening. What can we cook fresh for you? Tea with Goblins with 100 bits says, Morning, Hannah. So my state has gotten apocalyptic amounts of rain lately, and there are a couple of towns that have been completely inundated with flooding. State governments are being about as useful as a hatful of assholes. So a lot of the recovery efforts are being run by civilians. Could I please share a GoFundMe for LGBTIQ flood victims? Go for it! Zarek Shadow says, speaking of which, I have 2 Sovereign Citizens or Frauditor videos channels for your next Sovereign Citizen watch. Thank you for the links. I always appreciate the links. I will save these very quickly. Sovereign Citizen. Saved. And then the second one. Sovereign Citizen save. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Blackwing Hecate says, probably a prop master costume department head somewhere has. That's fair. That is fair. You'll have the nut roast served in a nest of tinfoil. Alright, I'll get right on that. Make sure to tip your waitress. I'm your waitress. Will Cal says, to be honest, if I get a 1099 form each year, I will take every tax write-off possible. I don't have a ton of deductions, so I think I usually take the standard deduction. I think there was like 1 year I didn't take the standard deduction. And it was a year where I happened to buy a new computer, a new microphone, a new camera, and some other various stuff all in the same year. Otherwise, I just take the standard deduction, because I don't have a ton of business expenses. Other than, of course, well, no, because I pay for the rent, and my home office is part of that, the electricity. I get to write off some of the internet and everything. I guess it just depends. Anyway, speaking of which, I need to do my taxes. I haven't done them yet. I gotta get on TurboTax. What's tax day? April something? I don't know. April 15th? 18th? People are giving me all sorts of different dates. Some are saying 15th, some are saying 19th, 18th. I'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks everyone for the great hype train and everything leading up. Let's get into the tinfoil content, shall we? Like I said, get your bingo cards ready. The first person, I guess I should go over the rules. 1 bingo card per person. We'll go over bingo cards in between certain videos, not necessarily every video, depending on the length, but we'll check it every once in a while. Like I said, 1 bingo card per person. Please only roll it once. I get it. You want to roll one where you're like, oh, generate, and then find one where it's stuff that you know we're gonna get. That's not fun. It's an honor system thing. Don't be a dick. You can only win once a month. And what else? I think that's it. First person to win gets a free gift sub from me. Don't tell anyone this, but it's actually self-serving because it gets you back to the channel. The point is, it's a way to get people to engage. Spare Keys says, I got my Coca-Cola, got my tacos, and my brain is ready to melt. Love the outfit, by the way. Oh, thank you. I hope you enjoy your Coca-Cola and your tacos. Meek says, if you want to cover Woo, you should look into Sky Cohen. Okay. Rageology says, is the Master Bingo list cleared from last stream? I have a bet on this. Okay, let me ask. What did you bet on? Did you bet that it would be cleared, or did you bet that it would be full of stuff? Before I show you, and I will show you. I can't touch anything without it being on screen, so I can't cheat here. In fact, you can see my hands if it helps. I'm not doing anything. Uncleared? Oh, you're about to lose a bet, my friend. I cleared it. Here you go. Boom! Cleared! Boom! Cleared. You underestimate my power. Anyway. How much did you lose on that bet? Just curious. Was it actual money, or just something humiliating? Or was it a pride thing? Tea with Goblin says, since you're not covering Call anymore, should his squares be removed from the bingo card? We're taking a break from Call. I think we'll cover him again eventually. I'm just waiting. Hydrate. Your girlfriend wins all the pride? I guess so. Alright, let's get into it. What are we gonna do first? How about this? This is quick. This is only 2 minutes, roughly. I don't know if anyone knows who Ricky Schroeder is. Is my audience old enough to know who Ricky Schroeder is? I'm barely old enough to know who Ricky Schroeder is. Ricky Schroeder is a child star. I think he was on Silver Spoons, which was a sitcom in the 80s. I want to say yes, Silver Spoons. Yep. So, child star, the kind of person that the movie Dickie Roberts is based on. Is Dickie Roberts something my audience knows of? The point is this. He hasn't done much in a while. I guess he was in 24, though. Haven't seen it. He was in some episodes of Scrubs, but you get it. Sitcom actor, heyday was his childhood. What has Ricky Schroeder been up to recently? If you guessed being a QAnon crazy person who's anti-mask and anti-vaccinations, that's weird that you knew that. Anyway, let's look at Ricky Schroeder harassing security guards. Did I already turn up the volume for you guys? I did. Cool.
Sir.
I don't make the rules, sir. I just have to enforce.
So we're at the Eisenhower Museum.
Yes, you are.
And I can't visit. My name's Ricky Schroeder. I drove over here to visit.
Hi, Ricky Schroeder. Put a mask on.
And you're telling me
You can't come in.
I can't come into this museum
Correct.
without a mask.
without a mask. Whose rule is this?
It's the National Archives and Record Administration's rule.
It's the federal government's rules.
Yes.
Evil federal government. Right?
All right, sure. If you want to think they're evil, that's fine. They're requiring you to wear a mask. Hydrate again. Tucker says, don't make me feel bad for a pig, Hannah.
That's your opinion.
That is my opinion. God's laws are higher than the federal government's.
Not in this building. I don't know if you know this, but God has hired 0 security guards for this building.
But you're going to enforce man's laws,
Yes, we are.
not God's laws.
Correct, sir. I don't know if it's God's law or man's law. All I know, it's our boss.
That's right. You don't know God. God bless. God bless.
Here we are, face to face, a couple of silver spoons. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Annoying guards, not wearing masks. I'm gonna catch the coof. Sky Comet Fallen says, nobody cares what your name is. Wear a mask, Plague Rat.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, the man who defeated the Nazis, and you've become one.
Ah, yes. All that power of being a security guard at a national museum of some sort turns you right into a Nazi. You know what they say about absolute power. Security guards have it.
Well, folks, you see what happened?
Ricky Schroeder is looking, You know what? No, I don't talk about people's looks. It's fine. Whatever. This is what Ricky Schroeder looks like now. That is my statement.
The federal government said I can't go into the Dwight D. Eisenhower Museum.
Yeah. No, you actually, let me be clear. You can. You just have to wear a piece of cloth over your face to protect yourself and others from the spread of illness. It's not a big ask.
That's his boyhood home. That's his library. The man who defeated the Nazis. And look what's become of our country.
Maybe don't reference World War II and all the sacrifices that were made in order to defeat the Nazis when you're only being asked to put a piece of cloth on your gaping maw for like an hour or however long you're going to be in the museum. Dr. White says, I too remember the chapter of Mein Kampf where Hitler says, the vaccines, they are cringe. Zeitgeist75 says, at least Punky Brewster isn't pulling this shit. Rachology says, bits for moral consistency. And Bittergrin says, this from the man who bailed out Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh god, didn't he? Did he? Gross. I thought My Pillow guy did. Did they both kick in for that?
The man who fought the Nazis. God bless the United States of America.
It's always funny to me when I ask a question in chat and I immediately get two directly, like, opposing answers, a no and a yes. It's like, well, that didn't help. Now it's 2 yeses, though, so majority rules.
God bless this movement. In Jesus' name, we need to fight for freedom again. Amen.
Spare Keys says, I wonder what he would have said if it was a museum to FDR. You know, the president who suffered from polio and promoted the polio vaccine to stop children from suffering. Speaking of which, on the bingo card, I think we have comparing health measures to Nazism? I don't know what number that is. Might be on page 2. Public health measures compared to the Holocaust. Yeah, that's close enough. Nazis, Holocaust, related. More than just related. Causative, but you know what I mean. Sky Comet Fallen says, what movement? You're a bunch of triggered snowflakes who throw tantrums about masks. Doobity-boop-bop-ba-doop-bop-boo. Guys, I don't mean to alarm you, but according to Gina, interdimensional beings have entered our world. So I don't know if you should be concerned, but you should be cerned. Or conned. Whatever a little bit of concern would be.
Hello and good morning. It's 10:24.
Sorry, that's quiet. Let me turn that up a bit.
a.m. on March the 7th of 2022. And the title of this is Interdimensional Being.
Do you see how tiny the... Why are the subtitles for this so tiny? They're like little mini YouTube subtitles. Weird. Overthought says if Peggy Hill got into Q. And Tucker White says, fun fact, Eisenhower also orchestrated 3 coups that killed a shit ton of people as president. So he should have stood trial for war crimes like the Nazis he fought.
Beings have already entered our world. They have already infiltrated our ranks in all echelons of society.
Especially Twitch users. I am one of them, of course. I am an interdimensional lizard woman. Jake is a completely separate interdimensional being. He's a corn man from the corn dimension. I've never understood that, honestly. Everything's corn. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. Adia Blue says, as a paraterrestrial alien rabbit, I call first dibs. And Brodence, first time chat, gives 500 bits and says, big fan of you, Hannah, first time catching a live stream. Have some bits. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Glad you could make it.
All echelons of society. They've been here.
Every single echelon!
For quite some time.
She didn't say reptilians. That was a joke I was making. So not reptilians on the bingo card.
There have been some who have been here for a long, long time. And now we have other interdimensional beings who somebody's opened up a portal and or numerous portals have been opened up. And those interdimensional beings...
The one in LaGuardia is the worst! Tucker White says, just know, Brodens, it's all downhill from here. Blackwing Hecate says, is he from the Mirror Universe version of the planet where everything is on the cob? Not everything is on the cob. It's just all corn. Not all corn is on the cob. Some of it's off. Don't accuse me of ripping off Rick and Morty. How dare you?
Have entered through the portals. And they are very busy at work, you all. They really are. These interdimensional beings, they don't got humanity's best interests at heart. They don't. You may not be able to physically see them, but they do have the ability to, you may not want to hear this, there may be some who do not want to hear this, to take on human form. Okay, they can.
To be clear, this is barely human form, okay? I'm doing my best. But we're not here for evil intent. We just need things that we can't get in our dimension. Specifically, and this might sound weird, but they're very important in our dimension, those little silica packets that come in, like, new products to keep them dry. We really need those things. There's a huge shortage where we're from. Just saying, it's very important. You're not even gonna miss them. Do you even notice? No, it's fine. Sky Comet Fallen says, do you have tentacles like Cthulhu? Are you an eldritch being? No, I'm a lizard. I've said this. You speciest.
And then they're given free reign over that.
Is this believed sci-fi tech is real? If she gets into the actual tech, if she says the portals are technological, sure, but she hasn't said that yet. Spare Keys says, another tidbit about Eisenhower, he also tried issuing an order to kick out lesbians from the military, but when confronted by his own secretaries who were lesbians, he retracted his orders. I've heard.
Human's body, it's just like, just think of a robot that is controlled by a controller. You know, this body's a vessel that we have.
Okay, that sci-fi technology is real.
It's a vessel that we have. But these, I'm sure you can look around and see that this world is not what it used to be. It's within the past.
That's how time works. It's not nefarious. Things change. R. Wester V, thanks for 18 months, says, thanks for the stream. You got me through Trump. Oh, well, thank you. 18 months. That's a sub, baby. 918. Okay, this stream baby's name is going to be Rangthor, the eater of tiny furniture.
3 years, it's literally has spiraled downward. And everything as we knew it is literally being brought down with it. Okay, it is. But we've got to hold the peace. We got to stand in our own strength. Okay, we got to stand the line. We got to hold the line. We got to be there for one another. We got to be aware of what's happening. We really do, because there is a battle that's taking place, and it's on interdimensional front also. Physical, literally, it's the spiritual is literally manifesting into our physical world. Okay.
The spiritual is literally manifesting into our physical world. What? The spiritual is literally manifesting into our physical world. I don't even know what that might mean. Blackwing Hecate says, ooh woo with 50 bits, ooh woo. KR Goss, thanks for 18 months. That's another sub, baby. This one's name is going to be Tiny Furniture About to be Eaten. 2 separate names. Tiny Furniture About to be Eaten. Rageology says, I'm an interdimensional being. I exist across multiple dimensions. Being, 3 dimensions and existing across time. Killjoy says, it's always interesting to me is that how older people think everything is bad worse, even though on the ways they mention we are almost objectively in a better society and better off. I think it's just so many are depressed with their adult lives and have rose-colored glasses for their childhood when they were happy. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. Spare Keys says, I wonder what she is imagining as evil aliens, because I'm imagining H.R. Geiger, and I don't know if she has ever even thought that far into this bullshit.
It is.
Does interdimensional beings count as aliens? That's a good question. It doesn't say extraterrestrial. Aliens? That's broad enough. I'll count extra-dimensional beings as aliens. I think that's close enough. That's fine. Because they are alien. They're from a different place that isn't Earth. And they're beings. I'd say that's aliens. Keizu the Incubus, thanks for subscribing.
And you could look at interdimensional beings as spiritual beings also, you all. They're otherworldly beings. They're other races of beings, okay, they are. And they have infiltrated our structures, okay, all these different areas of our lives. They're everywhere. They really are. Okay, just like the bad ones have entered in great numbers. Okay, there are good ones who have also entered. A lot of good ones who have also entered.
Some of them, I assume, are good people.
Just
that was not the best Trump impression I've ever done.
Like you have bad humans, you have good humans, you have bad interdimensional beings, and you have good interdimensional beings. You do. So it is a battle of epic proportions taking place, and it's not over yet. It's not over yet.
I forgot to unplug the water fountain. It's making water noises you can probably hear. Let me get that real quick.
Yeah. And we just got to be aware of what's happening. And I know a lot of you are very aware of what's happening. Can you hear me?
Oh God, don't do that. What are you doing?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me. Yeah. I think everything that we're seeing happening is a big part of these interdimensional beings who have come here and infiltrated our world, okay? They were invited in, okay? Someone or something invited them in, okay?
Who left the interdimensional portal open? What, were you born in a space barn? Rageology says, did you hear that Trump isn't very happy with Truth Social? I've seen those articles. I hope it's true, but I would have no idea. I know he hasn't posted on there, at least as of the last time I checked, but who knows?
And they too have a ruler that they answer to also, they do. They have a someone who's in charge of them or something who's in charge of them, you all.
Xenu?
But we're not fighting this battle alone. We're not. And I think we know we're not. And it does seem, it seems very, very tough. It does. It seems very hard right now. It's probably going to get a little bit harder. But as we continue, we're going to get more strength. Okay, we are. We're going to get more.
Every day I struggle with fighting interdimensional monsters. I don't have to worry about gas prices, okay? I'm fighting eldritch beings. DM Trey says it was Sig. We all know it. Ooh, D&D deep cut. Not a deep cut if you watch the D&D stream, but, you know. Bittergrin says, sorry, my bad. My dog couldn't decide if he wanted to go into the interdimensional void or not, so I just left it open for him. Every time.
More strength to face whatever's down that road of called life. Whatever else is on that road called life, we're going to have the strength we need, okay? And we are going to be equipped to handle it, okay? And we're not going to continue down this road by ourselves. We're not. I'm not alone, and you're not alone, okay? We're not. Just like these other people who are, let's categorize them as bad humans. They got interdimensional help helping them, interdimensional beings, okay? But good humans, they've got good interdimensional help, interdimensional beings that are also fighting. And you know, an angel would be classified as an interdimensional being, okay?
Why? What?
Angels of light. And they may not take on a pure human form. They may not. You may see them as a light. You may feel their presence. Okay, and I know everyone in here has felt energy before, whether it be very bad energy or very good energy. And I know a lot of you have felt at times there's somebody watching, there's something watching, and you can literally feel its presence, okay? If you are very intuitive or empathic,
That doesn't mean there's actually something there, Gina.
whatever it is they're told to do, okay, they are until the battle's over. They will. Just like the other ones, the other interdimensional beings.
She must have watched Buckaroo Banzai and thought it was a documentary. Don't you try and tell me with your liberal propaganda that the Lectroids are not out to get us, okay? Tucker White with a link.
You're boring everybody! Quit boring everyone!
Beings that are fighting for
Blackwing Hecate says, John Peters, you know the farmer said that old woman Josie said it was the faceless old woman who secretly lives in your house.
humanity. They're going to continue to do whatever they have to do, whatever they're called to do, until the battle is over, okay? And it's not over yet, you all. It's not. This is a short video. Thank you for the comments. Let me look on here. Is Susan BTV on here? Yeah, I'm wondering if she is. So yeah, you all. That's okay. That's okay. Let the trolls come. That's all right. They work for the darkness when they come on here and troll, because guess what? I'm not having their energy, and I would encourage you not to even let their energy, not even a slither of their energy, attach itself to you at all, you all.
No, this doesn't
We've just
count
gotta
as really
stand
wants
our
a civil
ground
war.
and put on our full armor of God. Put on our armor, our spiritual armor.
We'll do
That
CC
way
after
we
this.
can be protected. Okay, we can. We're going to make it. We are going to make it. No matter what comes our way, we're going to make it. We are. Because our battle is not, we're not fighting by ourselves. Okay, we do have help. You know we have help. And some people, you know, they can pray.
The
And
armor of God,
prayer
also
does
known
make
as
a difference.
cognitive
Some
dissonance.
people can meditate.
All right, I'm done with Gina. She's done talking about the interesting part of what she wants to say. Did we watch this one on stream yet? There are newer ones if we did, but the one where he talks about the woman who did the calculations for the Apollo mission, the initial one? Or some of them, I don't know. Where he talks about the number 33? No, he didn't? I'm just making sure. I didn't think we did. Okay. Let me mark aliens off the bingo card, and then we will continue to aliens. Alright, so it's again time to take a look at Chris and what he's been up to. He's getting crazier. He's getting crazier. He's starting to talk about the number 33, like people like Call for an Uprising do. So that's not a good sign. When you start to sound like Call for an Uprising, it's probably time to get a CAT scan. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at his newest Van Rant. Van Rant? That's not bad. You can take that, CC. That one's for free. Van Rant. Here we go.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's I missed the magic number 33. Anyway, it's 3422, and I just want to get into a couple things with you, real quick.
Recording in the car on the bingo card, of course. Auntie Pretzel says, "Ma'am, I don't consent as a universal, constant creature that has no defined true size or form to be perceived by you."
It's Think About It Friday, and I want you to think about some things. I'm going to first get into the big topic, and that would be the moon landing. And Don...
Is that the big topic? Has that been the big topic since 1969? You're acting like the moon landing is in the news. What?
Pettit, you sniveling... The one who says that we cannot come up with the equations because he would love to go back to the moon, but it's too painstaking to come up with the equations again.
He's not even remembering this clip correctly. So this is a clip that gets used by flat earthers, quite often, actually, where it's someone who works for NASA, I believe, who's saying, "Oh, I'd love to go back to the moon, but the technology that we had was destroyed." And what he means by that is rockets in the past were not reusable. They barely are now, even with SpaceX. But we used them. And we no longer specifically have the equipment that we had in the 60s during the height of the Apollo program to go to the moon. And even if we did, quite frankly, the safety record of the Apollo program... we can do better, let's put it that way. So, not to mention the shuttle program, which foreshadowing for later in the stream. Anyway, so, Chris, he didn't say the equations are lost. We have powerful computers, more powerful. This phone in my hand is a more powerful computer than every computer NASA had in 1969 put together. We can calculate how to go to the moon. It's an issue of man-hours, time, and equipment, which has to be budgeted for. Pretty simple. So he's not even representing this clip correctly. Sky Comet Fallen says, "Don't think too hard, CC. Your brain can't take it. You'll hurt yourself."
And what equations are these things that he's talking about? Do you know anything that he's fucking saying to begin with anyway? He doesn't even know... the seals that are on the space shuttle, for Christ's sake. I mean... Okay.
Wait, does he think every single person in the space program knows everything about rocket engineering? It's not how that works.
Okay. Anyway, so these equations you thought maybe would be invented by the top scientists of NASA, 10 or 20 of them, sitting down for years and years and years trying to figure out how to land a man on the moon. Well, it wasn't. These equations Don Pettit mentions were actually made from an Apollo employee called Margaret Hamilton.
Margaret Hamilton, who I believe was Jack Black's mom? Let's see, Margaret Hamilton is an American computer scientist, systems engineer, and business owner. She was director of software engineering division at the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory, which developed onboard flight software for NASA's Apollo program. She later founded two software companies, Higher Order Software in 1976 and Hamilton Technologies. This is the person who he's calling just an employee of the Apollo program, making it sound like she wasn't a goddamn scientist and engineer who worked on these problems. It's like in his head, he thinks, well, she was a relatively young woman at the time. She couldn't have been competent or a scientist. Absolutely ridiculous. Was it her who was Jack Black's mom? Jack Black. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Let me look. Do. Oh, I'm sorry. She was one of the people who worked on Apollo 13. I apologize. Stone Corbell says, there's a famous picture of her standing next to a giant stack of papers that the Koji wrote. Yeah, it's the thumbnail for CC's video. Jack Black's mom worked on Apollo 13. Apologies. Wrong lady scientist working the Apollo program. Spare Keys says, I wish we could revive the Apollo program so we can escape capitalism in space. Haven't you heard? Capitalism is in space now. There's nowhere to run. Anyway, yeah, so it's pretty disrespectful and stupid that Chris is being like, she was just an employee of the Apollo program. She was employed as a computer engineer and scientist. Yeah. Rachology says, think he might be an example of this. If it loads. More women in a STEM field leads people to label it as a soft science, according to new research. Ew. Gross. People are sexist, and it's really gross.
The engineer who came up with these. The thumbnail that I have on this video shows books that are as tall as she is. She was born in 1936. Now, the suspicious part about all of this, okay...
What do you think the suspicious part is going to be, everyone? Kirthan says, maybe we need to drum up some interest in space again, something like sending Freddy Krueger to space. Past stream reference. And Stone Corbell says, guess we have to smash capitalism here then. 80 Blue says, 33 is one short of 333, which is the mark of the demi-devil. 666 added is 18, which is the legal age to drink in Australia. Australia is below the equator, which isn't real, and a plot by NASA to convince angels that hell is south. South has 5 letters, and 5 is the number of fingers on the left hand. Satan is the left hand of God. Coincidence? And then Blackwing Hecate says, why should we be listening to CC? 60 years ago, he was a baby. True. Would you trust a baby?
Is if you look into it, and you take the numbers 36, and you divide, and you take it away from 1969, she was at the age of 33 when she came up with these equations. That's right, the big number, 33. So we're not really sure exactly, but anyway, they pinned...
Yep, that comes after the age of 32, and before 34. That's how that works. I told Jake this. We were talking the other day, and I was like, Jake, you're not allowed to do anything between the birthday where you turn 33 and the birthday where you turn 34. You are not allowed to do anything of historic note or significance in your life. Conspiracy theorists will be calling you a Freemason for the next 1,000 years. They see the number 33, and it's like their brain comes. They're just like, oh my god, it's the number! It's the Freemason number! It's ridiculous. Tucker White says, the quote suspicious part unquote is that she, a woman, was working out of the kitchen. Why 33? I believe it's because 33rd degree is the highest level of Freemasonry you can get to. Because as you rank up in Freemasonry, the club, it's like levels 1 to 33. I'll count that as Freemasons on the bingo card. He's referencing it, even if he isn't saying it out loud.
It to her. That's the equations that Don Pettit, the fake astronaut, is talking.
I'll have you know, I'm very fluent in conspiracy bullshit. If they reference something that sounds like gobbledygook to you, there's a chance I might know it. I've listened to a lot of this stuff. I know their lingo.
About. So just to clear that up, I just wanted to let you know. Okay, now there's a couple things here that you also must think about too, are smartphones.
Great. KBS says, Dr. Hamilton was brilliant, but she did not precisely invent the equations for the freefall orbits. The geometry and equations for that existed long before NASA needed it. She just put it all together along with others. Have I talked to one in the flesh? Any conspiracy theorists? Yeah, I've talked to Peter. Not like in person, but over Zoom or whatever. Yes.
And I brought this up before.
I've asked Chris to come on. He doesn't want to. It's a shame.
Too. See, that's all they are.
He's always ignored my messages.
There are these big blocks.
What about one in person? No, I can't say I've really been in any spaces where I've come face to face with a conspiracy theorist. Oh, and then Tea with Goblin says, Jesus was 33 when he was crucified, the same age as Margaret Hamilton when she wrote the Apollo Code. Jesus is on the moon, and NASA put him there. Wake up, sheeple.
Glass. Delicate as shit. If you drop the fucking thing, it's gonna smash into a million pieces if you don't have a cover for it. But it's never changed.
Smartphones have changed a lot, actually, in the last decade or so. iPhone wasn't the first smartphone, but it was the one that popularized smartphones. I had a smartphone, air quote, before the iPhone. It was dog shit. Don't get me wrong, it was cool at the time, because, you know, what we had previously was worse. But the iPhone changed things. Things have changed a lot. For cell phones in the last decade. Exhibit A. This is my phone. Ooh, look, it folds. To say cell phones haven't changed is to fundamentally say that you haven't been paying attention. That's an obvious one, you know, but, like, processing speeds, batteries, and it seems like people are like, oh, my battery is so much worse. Yeah, your phone's doing more processing than it used to. It has better, like, visuals and stuff, but the batteries have actually gotten better. It's just also that the power drain your phone has also gotten higher in the past decade. So if you stuck this battery somehow in a phone from 2008, it would run for a really long time. But yeah, phones have improved tremendously over the last decade, and if you don't think they have, you don't know what you're talking about. Will I Am Not Okay says, I turned 33 at the end of the month, so I can't do anything of significance for a year? Yes. You've been practicing for it your whole life. I'm sorry, that's mean. Idiot Blue says, how much do you get paid by Samsung, Hannah? Nothing. In fact, I paid them too much money for this phone. I love this phone. I really do, though. I'm not sponsored, but if Samsung wanted to sponsor me, I'll just sit on stream for 3 hours and I'll do this. Woohoo! Look, it folds. Salium X90, thanks for 9 months, says, it's finally come to this, huh? Okay, Hannah, let me hear it. What's the name? This stream baby's name is going to be... Baby! Tucker White with 45 bits says, this is all I hear right now.
Then you'll say, we're not talking about this, or this, we're talking about this!
And it's not just baby, by the way. It explicitly has to be baby! You have to say it like that, or it doesn't count.
Never has it changed at all. We're now working on almost 15 years. I believe that these smartphones were made, that Apple made these things.
Apple didn't invent the smartphone. Stone Corbell says baby, the exclamation point is part of the name. True?
Yeah, that's right. He's the first one who came out with the, who passed away, I'm sure. Yeah, he really did. From, whatever, cancer. Right, yeah. Anyway.
Apparently he thinks Steve Jobs is secretly still alive, which isn't true. Steve Jobs got pancreatic cancer, I believe, and then tried to treat it with fruit. Fun fact, fruit doesn't cure cancer. So if you get cancer, which is very unfortunate, get actual treatment from doctors.
Anyway, he's the one who made this, the touch screen, and that's what you're...
Steve Jobs did not invent the touchscreen, nor did Apple invent the touchscreen.
Watching me through right now, or you may be watching me on a computer or the television. I don't know, whatever it may be, it doesn't make a difference. Apple's the one who made these. But it's never changed. The technology has not changed one little bit. They've gotten faster, they've gotten slimmer, You know, but
All of these things are changes. You're listing changes. They've gotten bigger. Their capabilities have improved. The form factor is similar. But again, even that has changed with stuff like this, especially now. There's flip phones like this. There's flip phones that are more like the original clamshell ones, but with touchscreens inside. The reason that phones have stayed relatively the same in form factor of just being like a rectangular, roughly square in your hand is because it's a good form factor for what you're doing with the device. The internals are what change for the most part.
it hasn't changed at all, and it won't change. The only way they're going to be able to change smartphones right now is if they manage to put it inside of us or something. You know, they tried to do the wraparound screen, you know, the oiled screen, shall we call it? Didn't work.
Don't know what he's talking about there. Tucker White says, of course he's not dead, Hannah. Steve Jobs grew sick of dealing with plebs, so he effed off to the same Pacific island that Amelia Earhart and MH370, quote, disappeared, unquote.
The technology's too difficult. It kept flapping open and flacking open, and the screen would go out after 1,000 times of doing that. And I think they have another one that's out that's just as flimsy, you know. But it's you see, we get stagnant with technology. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like
a lot of technology develops in an S-curve. That's an understood concept. But I don't necessarily think smartphones are in that category. Maybe in the design sense, again, stuff like this is relatively new, but like, yeah, that's how technology works sometimes. You'll have some breakthrough in either materials or engineering. All of a sudden you'll have all sorts of like new innovations. Things will stay kind of the same for a while. Oh, a new breakthrough in materials or batteries or form factor or engineering or design. Whoop! That's what an S-curve is. It's not uncommon.
we're stealing
But again, I wouldn't necessarily say phones are in that category.
technology from somewhere, and that's it. It just stays exactly the way it is because we can't figure anything else out to do. The combustible engine, for crying out loud, in 1920, we were driving around with fucking electric cars. They already figured that out in 1920.
The concept of the electric car existed, and there were certainly proof of concept vehicles that did that, but the batteries were awful.
1920, and the technology was probably even better in 1920 than it is right now, but those motherfucking
It was not. Spoilers, it was not. It was really, really bad.
Tesla cars that are driving around there that are $150,000.
Does he really think like a 1920s electric car works better than a Tesla? And I detest Tesla as a company, but modern electric cars are functional vehicles that can be used to go hundreds of miles at a time on a single charge. At normal road speeds and highway speeds. 1920s electric cars were not capable of going that distance or that speed.
That nobody can afford. Oh, they have cheaper ones. Really? What happens if you live in an apartment? What are you gonna do? You're gonna run a cord to your fucking car out in the street? Think, people.
This annoyed Baja in particular because before we moved into this house that we're renting, Baja has only owned one car. It's an electric car, not a Tesla, but it's an electric car. I'm not going to tell you specifically what it is, because why the fuck would I tell you what people's specific vehicles are? Anyway, it's an electric car. She used to live in an apartment. First of all, a lot of apartments either have, at least in larger cities, okay, well, Baja just said it. It's a Chevy Bolt. I didn't dox that. She did. Okay, I wasn't sure. Anyway, a lot of apartment complexes, at least in bigger cities, have electric car charging stations, or they're all over the place, like in the city where we live. They're all over the place. Again, I'm not going to say where, but they're around. Baja used to charge her car while she was at work because her work had charging stations. And you know what, Chris? If you really need to, yes, you can plug electric cars directly into the wall. That's how they work. Why is he so befuddled by this?
Think. You've got to think rationally. People aren't thinking rationally. They don't know. They think they can see a star from 1 billion miles away. Billion light years away. Light years. Do you know how long that is? Do you know how far away that is?
Very far. Do you know how big and bright stars are? Very big. And very, very bright. Robert Morley says, love my Tesla Model S and my McLaren GT. Spoiler alert, it was only 110,000, not 150. Electric is the future. Nice, you want to buy me a car? I guess with all the bits you've donated, maybe you did.
Do you have any idea? Take a flashlight, for crying out loud. Go into a nice... Go ahead, just take a flashlight, go out on a street. You don't even have to get a quarter fucking mile, and the light just disappears.
Chris, a flashlight is not as big or bright as a star. It's an understatement, but it's a true statement nonetheless. Zarek Shadow says, Chris probably thinks these guys prevented the electric car from being released. I can't play the whole clip, though I do like the Stonecutters episode of The Simpsons. Blackwing Hecate says, if you look to the left of your screen, you'll see an old man yelling at clouds. If you look to the right, you'll see a beautiful tinfoil-clad dragoness.
It's gone! Poof! People ask me about the stars. Oh, why am I looking at constellations different than where you are? The constellations are different over there. Well, think, you idiot. It's the perspective you have. I'll make it even simple for you.
Like the perspective on different places. On a globe? Like if I'm over here in America... and you're over here in America, we're looking at different parts of the sky. Or even more, this side versus this side, hemispheres. See how that works? It's crazy.
Okay, I'm at a lake. You're looking at the moon reflecting off the lake. I see the moon over here, and the person on the other side of the lake sees the moon over here. Okay, that's the perspective people need to understand. Okay? That's amazing light show up there. That's all there is. It would be absolutely impossible to see a star that's billions of light years away and you could see the light. Absolutely impossible. It's how anybody can even believe that, how I believed it, and I never thought of anything. Because, you know, when you're in school, the teacher, the authoritative figure is telling you all of this shit, and you're absorbing it. And then you've got the globe right there in front of you when you're in high school. And
I don't even think I had globes in high school. Flat earthers very much overstate the amount of stuff that is taught in school about the shape of the earth. I think that came up like once in kindergarten. It just doesn't come up. What are they talking about? Sky Come Up Fallen says, light years are a measurement of distance, not time. You dumbass. Argonian Bum, thanks for 19 months. I got this globe at a thrift store the other day. $5. Worth it.
There it is. Telling you more that we live on a globe. We live on this. You don't live on anything but a flat, stationary land. You're covered with a dome. I don't know what the fuck the stars are, but they're not stars. It's an amazing light show, and that...
I don't know what the stars are, but they're not stars. Good quote. Good pull quote.
That's all that is up there. And that's it, bottom line. Look, you choose to believe it or you choose not to. If you want to know what you really live in, that's what we live in. And if you want to believe that you live on this fucking spinning wet ball, that's fine. Great. I don't care. Doesn't make a difference.
Seems like you care a little.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. Okay.
Is he in a prison van? No, he drives, he works for a company that contracts with hospitals and other facilities that have a lot of people in wheelchairs. So it's like a wheelchair-accessible van that he drives around, which is unfortunate because he's unvaccinated and probably comes into contact with a lot of high-risk individuals for COVID. Tucker White, with a link. If it'll load.
You're a stupid dumbass.
Okay? It is. It is. There's so much more I want to talk to you about, but maybe I'll get into it tonight. But I just want to give you some things to think about, okay? So I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
So that's one of his newest videos. CC puts out so much. It's like a greatest hits. You just gotta hit all of them, you know? What did someone ask? How did the whole flat earth conspiracy start? The ancient Greeks knew this, that this was round. That's a good question. There have been multiple flat earth resurgences throughout history, throughout the, like, post-classical period. This most recent one has its roots in the internet, deeply within the internet, but it sort of came out of a movement, I want to say in the early 20th or late 19th century, I don't remember exactly when, but there was a book written called Zetetic Astronomy. Again, I forget the author's name, but that is a book about flat Earth, and many of the arguments from Zetetic Astronomy have found their way into the lexicon of modern flat earthers, and the internet snowballed it into a whole new movement, and now these people make their own, like, proofs, air quote, evidences that the Earth is flat or that the Earth isn't round, all sorts of stuff. Zoetic Astronomy? I thought it was Zetetic. Zetetic Astronomy. Yeah, Zetetic. Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe paperback. $7.50. Ooh, I need to get that. Samuel Rowbotham, that was his name. Samuel Rowbotham was an English inventor, writer, and socialist who wrote Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe, under the pseudonym Parallax. His work was originally published as a 16-page pamphlet and later expanded into a book. Rowbotham's method, which he called Zetetic Astronomy, models the Earth as a flat disk centered around the North Pole and bound along its perimeter by a wall of ice, with the sun, moon, planets, and stars moving only several thousand miles above the surface of the Earth. So yeah, he's kind of the father of modern flat Earth, at least his texts are, which then got picked up by people like Mark Sargent, and spiraled out into what we see today. Luckily, it's dying down. The height of the online flat earth movement was 2017, and it's been dying down ever since, but it's still interesting to look at these people, because these people are going to believe this for the rest of their life, most likely. I don't foresee Chris ever coming around on this, but, you know.
All right, same day. Okay, yeah, I was going to surprise you. And do like a, you know, double video, but unfortunately the phone has to, I mean, not my phone, the camera has to charge up because I depleted the batteries for some reason or another, and then it'll take about, I would say about 2 hours to charge that, you know, camera. See, this is what I'm talking about, charging. See, so what am I going to do right now? What am I going to do if my electric car that your new president is out there trying to promote, what am I going to do?
He's super pissed about electric cars for some reason.
I'm going to hold the cord out here.
Chris, what happens if your car runs out of gas? You plan ahead and you fuel your vehicles. What are you talking about?
In my apartment and run it out to my car and charge it overnight? No, it's all bullshit. It's crap. Look, you will never have an electric car, unless if you want to buy it, of course.
That's how everything works? What? Again, a lot of large car brands are switching over to electric. I know this decade and the first half of the 2030s are going to be real big for electric cars with American manufacturers. GM is planning to switch all their models to electric by 2035, I want to say. I'm not sure about Ford, but I know they're switching over their biggest truck, as in like their best-selling truck, over to electric, and that's one of the best-selling vehicles, if not the best-selling vehicle in the country. Hydrate. You sent me an email. Okay. Interesting. And I imagine other country car manufacturers are doing much of the same. I'm sure there'll still be some vehicles that use fossil fuels, utility vehicles and stuff that need to be fueled very quickly for whatever reason. Trucks probably for a while until they can figure out how to fast charge even quicker. The problem with that, of course, is the more energy that's stored in the battery and the quicker you charge it, that has risks involved with fires and stuff. But yeah, the technology is just going to continue to improve. There's nothing wrong with electric cars. They're very cool. They're better for the environment. It's good to get these switched out. Well, on the back end, we try and replace like coal and fossil fuel-based energy production facilities and switch them over to more renewables, stuff like that. Tucker White says, I've heard dumber excuses to link this video. You wouldn't download a car. Blackwing Hector says, raid time, folks. Have fun.
Car companies will always try to come out with something that's electric. BMW has already. I think Audi has. Hyundai, I'm not sure. I think they're behind on that one. But Honda, I mean, electric cars are shit. They're
really not. Again, like I said, Baja has one. I really like it. The next car I get, I plan on doing electric. Just because I like her car so much, I plan on getting the same car. Unless, I guess, at the time, because I don't need a car right now, I don't plan on buying one, until I need one, at least more severely. So I might wait some more years and try and get a later used model. But either way, I think electric cars are great. I think they're cool, they're quiet, they run very nice, instant torque. I think they're cool. Tucker White says, bitch, I would totally download a car. True. Why not?
There's no market for it. Okay, no one's gonna buy an electric car. They depend on oil.
Chris, just because you don't want something doesn't mean everyone feels the same way as you. And that's okay. I'm not telling you you have to buy an electric car, but the market is going to dictate what gets made, because we live in a market economy. It's how it works. Rachology, sorry I missed your bits, said, is it me or is CC's ability to think through what he's saying getting worse? He's getting more agitated, for sure.
We all depend on oil. And when your gas prices go up to $6 a gallon when it comes down to June...
Probably going to be a lot. We just cut off oil imports from Russia, and I think we were getting about 10% of our oil from Russia or something like that. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to affect things. Personally, I'm fine with it. I'd rather us not be doing business for oil with Russia, considering how they're acting right now. But I understand that's also going to be rough. I'm not going to lie. That's another good reason to switch over to electric vehicles, though. Ironically enough. It's weird that he's bringing this up. High gas prices are a reason to switch to electric, Chris. Scott Comet Fallen says, I live in a coal-based energy state. I don't think electric cars would be more carbon... I don't think electric car would be more carbon neutral for me. I actually don't know the statistics on that in terms of, like, filling up a electric vehicle's battery versus the production of gasoline, but I gotta imagine it's still better. Because it doesn't cost very much to fill up an electric car. It costs like $2. That's just a guess, though. And either way, getting the end product stuff like cars is a good step in the right direction either way. And then in the back end, we work on developing more clean energy sources for the grid itself. Tucker White says, the market dictates what gets made, but if it's a commuter trains, rapid transport, or better public transit, then F you, buy a car.
Of 22. You're going to say, why? So you're going to turn around and just buy an electric car? I mean, what choices do you have? Let's take a look. Okay, you got BMW. Okay, now a BMW is going to cost you about $120,000. Tesla has 3 choices. Okay, one's about the lowest one.
Teslas aren't cheap electric cars. Let's see. Again, I don't even feel right looking up new prices for electric cars, right? Because most people don't buy new cars. Most people buy used. Let's take a look at used cars. Used electric cars. Let me take this off the screen for just a second in case it's going to try and dox me. Let's see. Something that's not a Tesla, please. I'm trying to look at used electric vehicle prices, and of course, they're all Teslas on this page. Why? Okay, let's see. This 2015 BMW is $19,000, which again, for a lot of people is expensive, but as these cars get older, they'll go down in price, especially as more hit the market. The Teslas are going to be more expensive, but as opposed to the $90,000 price point, we're looking at more like $50,000, which again is expensive. 2020 Nissan Leaf is $25,000. This Nissan Leaf Plus is $35,000. And again, these are still cars that have come out in the past 5 years. The used car market is the biggest market in the US. So as these things get older and more of these cars get put into the used car market and get older, the prices are going to come down. This Chevy Bolt's $30,000. Doesn't have very many miles on it. Tucker White says, how could it dox you, Hannah? We already know you're a lizard person. Occult Comics says, for some hopium and good feelings, you have given them an ideal to aspire to, embodied their highest aspirations. They will race and stumble, and fall and crawl and curse, and finally, they'll join you in the sun, Kal-El. They'll stumble, they will fall, but in time they will join you in the sun. In time you will help them accomplish wonders. One of the only good bits of dialogue from a Zack Snyder film. It's a shame that movie sucked. Lily Love Stuff, thanks for 20 months. Says 20 months, dang, time flies. I know, right?
Cheapest one is about $40,000, but you have to buy a power station with that too. But you have to have a house in order to put that power station in. Because if you live in an apartment building, they're not going to allow that in there because that could cause a fire. Remember the skateboards that exploded? That were powered.
Robert Morley said he emailed me. Where did you email
lithium
me?
Batteries. Maybe you don't remember that. You might have forgotten about that. See, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen. We'll always be dependent on fuel.
No. Literally, that's impossible considering there is a finite amount of fossil fuel. Occult Comics says that's actually from Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. It's why it's so good. Please read All-Star Superman. Oh, that makes sense. Zack Snyder didn't write it.
The first engine that came out was powered with gasoline. So, Ford.
The first internal combustion engine? First internal combustion engine. I find it hard to believe it used what we would consider modern gasoline, even if we're talking about, like, leaded gasoline, but I don't know. Let's see. Commercial liquid fuel. No, two-stroke gasoline engine. Okay. I'm wrong on that one. And then some years later, Rudolph Diesel. Well, gee, I wonder what he's famous for. Anyway.
Ford decided to end electric.
Not the first engine, the first combustion engine, the first internal combustion engine.
Because he had all this money inside
Steam engine's a different thing.
This particular item. And he ended it. And he squashed electric engines. He ended it. and he made us dependent on oil. And that's what this entire country is all made of. And that's what's running this country. And that's what's running every fucking price and every fucking war that's going on right now. Because it's all
Sent to Hannah Reloaded. Wrong email. Hannah Reloaded 94. So throw a 94 at the end of that.
bullshit. It's all about oil. It's all about energy. The next crisis is energy. And that's all it is. It's about that. Don't you understand this? Can't you see this? That's what it's all about.
G Tara, thanks for 2 months, says, yay, my first anniversary. Nice.
It's also about flat earth too, but I'm just saying energy. And the big companies are making billions, trillions of money. Pharmaceutical companies have just, you should have, I should have, maybe you should have invested in something in pharma, because they're now trillionaires.
Oh yeah, Hannah is spelled Hannah also. There's an H at the end.
Anyway, look.
Dirtcher says, yes, there'll be an energy crisis. Shouldn't we get ahead of it now? You'd think.
You gotta wake the fuck up. And if you don't, you're asleep. And if you're trolling me right now, you're so asleep or you're paid. That's how it works. Okay? It's as simple as that. That's what this entire country, this entire world is dependent on. And every single thing that's priced for you right now in the supermarket or wherever the fuck you go is dependent on somebody bringing it to you. And if they're bringing it to you, they're bringing it with fuel. This was all back in 1910, 1920. It was squashed. The electric car was squashed back then.
Chris, we know. What does this have to do with now? Sky Comet Fallen says, swirls finger next to head in crazy gestures. Tucker White says, a simple solution, federalize the infrastructure. Federalize BNSF, CSX, Kansas City Southern, Norfolk Southern, Union Pacific. Just federalize everything.
Came back out with it in 1982 or 81 or whatever the fuck the year it was. And they squashed it back then.
The batteries weren't capable back then, Chris. Like, Tesla, I don't like Tesla, again. But clearly investors have a lot of faith in them considering they have the highest market cap of, like, all the major auto players combined right now. Excuse me, at least last time I checked.
It's a shame. It really is. It is an absolute shame that people don't understand this. They don't see the bridge when it was rebuilt. And we...
Okay. I think I'm about done with Chris for today. He just keeps going on and on. There's a couple short ones. At least we'll watch this one short one and then we'll move on because I think this is going to get something off the bingo card.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It's 3/5/22. I'm just enjoying these chemtrails. I mean, look.
Bingo card!
Do you see that right there?
Yes, Chris. I do see it. It's not a chemtrail. Those aren't real.
Do you see that?
Chris doesn't know that there are different shapes of clouds, nor does he know what contrails are. So that's pretty funny.
Do you see this? Do you see all of it? Maybe you don't, because you're not awake. You think these are regular clouds. Just take a look. See, now that's the sun right there. All right? Apparently it's 93 million miles away, but it's not.
We don't have fake sky yet.
It's local. Just take a look at that. They've been doing this for like 40 years now. Look.
So most of your life, you know, when you would maybe notice something like this, because you're crazy.
Do you see that? What type of cloud is that? Is that a sea serpent cloud? Sea serpent. That's what I'm going to call it.
That probably already has a name. Let's look. Cloud types. I learned this in kindergarten, by the way. The different kinds of clouds. Let's see. Those appear to be stratocumulus clouds. Not a meteorologist, but that's the closest. Chris, there are different kinds of clouds with all different shapes and textures. Crazy, right? Could also be a contrail. Again, I don't know. I still didn't get an email, Robert Morley, by the way. At least I didn't see one. Don't know if you sent it.
Look at that. Look at all of these lines. Those aren't clouds, my friends.
Stars are lights in the sky isn't fake sky. No, he's not saying it's fake. He just thinks they're closer than they appear to be and that they aren't large fusion reactors in space.
These are not fucking clouds.
They're clouds. Oh, there it is.
He knows a lot about the science.
So that's what CC's been up to. Yeah. That's about it. Still crazy. Not good. Oh god, look at those cars. Very cool. Alright, let's do a quick bingo check. And then we'll get on to Hans, I think. Illuminati, because of the 33 thing. I'm going to say word salad because of the video we watched of the lady who thought interdimensional beings were coming. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists for the robot thing. Rachology says a more appropriate chart considering what's coming out of CC's mouth. I can't show that on stream. It's the chart of different kinds of poop. Flat Earth. Chemtrails. I think that's... Oh, recording in car. And that's it. Chitara says, considering how massive space is, 93 million miles is pretty local. Too bad CC doesn't understand that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting a little warm. I'm going to take these parts off. At least for now. Where is our main man, Hans? Where did you go, Hans? Hans, where did you go? You know you're my There he is. Well, looks like Hans Wormhat is going back to his roots and talking about our favorite topic in terms of Hans, and that is the fact that he thinks that a lot of animals are hoaxes. In this case, one of his most famous examples, apes, specifically gorillas. He thinks gorillas are fake, that they are people in suits, that they are there to trick us into believing evolution. So let's hear his, I guess, up-to-date arguments on why he thinks gorillas are fake.
It's time everybody knew about gorillas and how gorillas are not a real animal. It's just humans in fursuits, and it's a big...
I've seen some fursuits against my will because my audience has made me look at fursuits. These would be some real good fursuits if they were fursuits. Honestly, they wouldn't even be good because in my understanding, furries aren't trying to look like real animals. They're trying to look like anthropomorphic, almost cartoon animals in real life. These look like hyper-realistic gorillas because they're gorillas. These are just gorillas. They're alive. They're living animals on this planet. Occult Comic says, I apologize in advance for this. Whatever life holds in store for me, I will never forget these words. With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm a member of the Illuminati, actively working to dismantle the Starlight Agenda and impose a new world order. Six Semper, glitter, and orgies.
Big lie that's been orchestrated to make you think that you're just a monkey. And they...
We're apes. We're apes. We're also hominids.
Use the great apes to push evolution and to just get that idea in people's mind that... Oh.
Hans. Apes are real animals. They're not there to trick you. The knowledge that apes exist has existed longer than evolution as a theory in science. I don't remember the exact year Charles Darwin published on the Origin of Species. It was like 1850 something. Origin of Species. Let's see, what was the publishing date? 1859. 1859 was an Origin of Species. We have known about gorillas and other apes much longer. Why do you think that they had the forethought to create apes long before the theory of evolution was even a thing, much less have the capability of creating suits, air quote, that look this good? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, we came from monkeys. And so the way they do it is they put people in fursuits and they have these monkey actors act like humans. And there you go, that's the joke. And it really is, it's like a magician's trick. Once, all that you have to do is just question it. Start to, just even having the idea of, is this gorilla actually a real animal or is it a suit?
Okay, thought in my brain. Yes, they're real animals. Next. Chippers the Squirrel says, I get the feeling Hans visited a zoo one day and was surprised by how human-like the gorillas were, and it threw his evolution-denying brain into mental gymnastics mode, and this is the result. I don't disagree. I think this is a way for him to deal with cognitive dissonance in a very abnormal way. I think in his brain he recognizes, hey, if gorillas and other apes are real, pretty strong evidence for evolution, considering how closely related they clearly demonstrably are to human beings and vice versa. So the only way his brain thought to get out of this was not, oh, maybe I should reconsider whether or not I think evolution is true. That doesn't even mean he has to not be a Christian, by the way. There are plenty of Christians who recognize evolution as being true. Instead, he was like, nope, gorillas are fake. Done. Problem solved. Salium says, technically we're closer to monkeys, not apes, right? I don't know the specific definition. To my understanding, we're apes. Someone correct me. I don't know.
Just thinking about that makes the suits look worse. They start to just look like what they are to you. I guess another way to put it is, when you really believe in it, it looks better. When you believe the lie and you go into it thinking, oh, this is real, everything looks better. That's just how the human mind works. And they know this and they exploit that. And
Hans, you're describing your own cognitive bias.
they have a million more tricks to get people to believe in this stuff. But that's just the main thing. If nobody ever walks up to you and tells you, oh, every gorilla you've ever seen is just a fursuit, it won't look like a suit to you, because you'll go into it every time thinking it's real. So, I mean, I've just let the cat out of the bag, and I've been talking about this subject for a while, and I think it's really self-evident if you can just have an open mind and look at the evidence. So here, what I have in front of you, is there any way that you can discern which of these are real gorillas and which of these are suits? Some of these I took from the movie Gorillas in the Mist, where they tell you that it's a fursuit. And other
top middle, this is just a guess. I really don't know. Top middle looks fake to me. Could be wrong though. Maybe? I don't know. I haven't seen Gorillas in the Mist. Stone Carpel says, until someone says some weird falsehood to me, I've probably never thought about it before because it's not true. Sky Comet Fallen says, damn it, people. Monkeys are not apes, are not hominids. We're hominids, closely related to apes. I thought it was like nesting in each other. I thought hominids were still apes. Anyway, chat, say which one you think is from the movie. I'll move this out of the way so it's easier.
So I actually have a funny story about one of these that I'll get to. But anyways, do you get the point?
I'll use this as an example. Hans. We are apes, says Baja. Well, there you go. Occult Comics says, Hans must never see archives. The truth will destroy him. Oh no, what is this?
Maximals, remember, these beast forms are to protect us from the long-term effects of the energon fields out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Optimus. Aptimus Prime. Or Optimus Primate. I don't know. Where did it go? Dang it, there it is. Hans. Again, I haven't seen Gorillas in the Mist. Let's take a look real quick. Gorillas in the Mist. Which I believe is about Jane Goodall. Or no. Is it supposed to be based on someone similar? I've never seen the movie. I guess I assumed based on the cover it was about Jane Goodall or something. Okay. So you can make facsimiles of something that is real. And also, I don't know if they used real apes in the movie, because this one looks pretty close. Like, this one looks real. This one looks fake. I don't know, though. The point I'm trying to make is this. This one looks very fake. Either way, Hans, I assume they probably used some real gorillas in the movie, but for those that they didn't, you can make convincing facsimiles of things without that making the real things fake. Like, you could make, what's a good example of this? I could, in a movie, make an exact replica of prop food. That's a good example. Movies that use prop food that looks identical to real food, but it's fake. That doesn't mean the real food item it's depicting is fake just because you can make convincing facsimiles. And by the way, these are photographs of a movie, presumably, and not real life, where you can go up and actually examine the animals.
Which one?
How dare I besmirch the name of Optimus Primal?
Of these are real gorillas?
It should have been Aptimus Primal.
Which one of these are fake gorillas? How do you tell? Is there a way that you can actually make a difference? Or is there actually no visual?
Not from single images, probably, because the prop department or costume department or whatever production design department did their job, which is good.
Difference at all between...
I'm still guessing top middle, though. But again, that's a guess.
What we classify as a real gorilla and Hollywood fursuits. Top of the line Hollywood fursuits. Because some fursuits are more obvious than others. But where do you draw the line? Like, to me, this is so obviously not a real living animal. But as far as I can tell, they're claiming that this is a real gorilla right here. And I tried to do a reverse image search on it, and...
Incredible puppet from Warhorse? Ooh. Oh, wow. That's a puppet? That's really impressive. Oh, yeah, you can see the guy puppeting it. That's really cool. Practical special effects are amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, CG is awesome in its own way, but just I wonder where we'd be in terms of practical effects if CG had never become such a dominant force in the visual effects industry. Because by the 90s and early 2000s, oh boy, practical effects were wild.
As far as I can tell, this image is only used as like a clickbaity, I only found it. I never found an article that was like talking about this as a gorilla. Anyways, you could do a reverse image search if you want. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's like that image in the bottom left is only ever used as like a thumbnail for things. And that's actually just a big point about...
So it probably is one of the early, like if you type gorilla, it probably comes up really early, or it's a copyright-free image or something that's under like the Creative Commons license. Those are really common to see in thumbnails. Gitara says, wait a second, if one of Hans's reasoning that gorillas aren't real is because we can make a fake, that would mean the Earth isn't real because we can make globes. True.
About gorillas. They're...
Why is he like this? I mean, he's talked about how when he was a kid he used to like to stare into the sun. So that could be a chicken or egg thing. I don't know.
There are so many studio quality images of gorillas doing anything that you want. And it's because they're just fursuits, so it's really easy to produce any image you want. They can take 1 million photos of these things. So, I mean, if you wanted the answer, I honestly don't even... How do you tell which one of these are real, which ones are not? This one is from Gorillas in the Mist. This one is allegedly Diana Fossey or whatever, who it's about.
Which one? The middle one or the left one? Because if it was the middle one, I was right. Sky Come Fallen says, I bet Hans never stops to ask why anyone would undertake such a massive and expensive operation as a worldwide gorilla hoax. He thinks it's because they're trying to push evolution. Evolution is real. But he thinks it's a conspiracy.
Anyways, I believe this one in the bottom right is Gorillas in the Mist, and then the one in the middle. I think the lighting's a little bit more natural in the Diana Fossey one, but they're all the same thing. They're all just fursuits.
I'm going to say the one on the right here is fake. The one on the left is... Well, no, it's hard to say with the lighting. I don't know.
Which one of these is a real gorilla? Which one of these is openly a gorilla suit? How are you going to know? What's the...
No, I'm going to... The lighting on the left makes it really hard to see because it's so dark. And it's hard to tell in still images. Chat, what do you think?
What's the tell? What are the criteria for differentiating between a gorilla suit and a real gorilla?
Them being alive helps. Being able to actually see them move in real life. Having vets take care of them. The fact that they... you know, are in the air quote suits 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of every year of their life.
And you'll eventually realize it's all about context. The only thing that tells you whether something is a gorilla suit or a alleged real gorilla.
That's definitely not true. If you look at, like, something like Congo, for instance, and the movie Congo is fun. But when you see fake gorilla suits in motion... that's generally the giveaway. There's a reason he's not showing clips, at least as of yet. It's because when you see him in motion, there's a clear delineation between the two.
There's not a look to it. There's not like, oh, I can tell because of... It literally all goes down to what's the context. If you're at a zoo, oh, that's a real gorilla. If you're reading a news article that tells you, if the authority figure tells you it's real, that is the only criteria that exists for...
Definitely untrue. Color by Emmy says the suit designer should add this video to their portfolio. Agreed.
Or is it a suit or is it a gorilla? Because there's no visual difference.
There's definitely visual differences, but it's also because of the lighting, so I can't really tell. I'm suspicious of the one on the left. It looks like a promotional photo. But the one on the right kind of looks like a taxidermied gorilla, so I don't know.
To me, I purposefully picked one that this is supposed to be a real gorilla, but to me it's obviously fake and it's a bad model that doesn't have a good looking mouth. That just looks really awkward. And the one on the left is from a movie. That's Gorillas in the Mist.
Radiology says in-camera special effects are the best. Roar. And that's very cool. Stop motion. Lost art.
But they're the same thing. There's no difference between them. Again, the one on the right looks more cheesy to me. The one on
I mean, why?
the left is Gorillas in the Mist.
Like, if you look at the one on the right, you can literally see into its mouth. Where's the person's head if it's a suit? Evil Dead guy says, play this. Oh god, what is it? Stop eating my sesame cake!
Mr. Homolka? Oh. Stop eating my sesame cake. Stop eating my sesame cake!
Yeah. Good clip.
The one on the left looks better to me than the one on the right. Why is the one on the right real? Because it's at a zoo.
Because that one's an actual animal, and the one on the left is not.
Even though the one on the left looks more natural. And look how bad the gloves look.
They're not gloves. They're hands.
So there you go. In my opinion, the one on the left looks way more natural than what is presented in the zoo. However, the one on the...
Is it because your idea of what a gorilla is comes from movies? Which usually use fake gorillas? Putting it out there. Seems like a reasonable explanation to me. Your idea of gorilla comes from movies, so to you, the gorilla from the movie looks more real than the real gorilla.
On the left is from the movie Gorillas in the Mist. Do you get the point? So I'm just going to go through. I already mentioned this, how there's... Honestly, it's probably not even hyperbole to say that there's millions of images out there of gorillas that are studio quality, and they're doing anything and everything, and especially
How much would it cost to make millions and millions of photos of people in fake gorilla suits?
acting like humans, looking like humans.
That one's obviously fake. Tea with Goblin says, also Hans seems to assume the only place that people have ever encountered gorillas is through the media or in zoo, totally ignoring years of pre-colonial African history where people could see and sometimes interact with gorillas in the wild. Yep.
If they stuck this suit behind a zoo glass, would anybody doubt that it was a real gorilla?
Yes.
This is supposed to be real, but to me it looks like any of the other gorillas I've seen, which I've shown to be fursuits. There's literally no difference.
Plato was right, the visual arts confuse people. Shut it down, shut it all down.
They all got the same weird rubbery looking hands and shiny faces, and over here doing devil horns. Showing the watch off.
Satanism on the bingo card.
How many images have you seen that look exactly like this, but they're real gorillas? Because context, because somebody tells you it's real. This is from the movie. There's literally...
Did they use any real gorillas on Gorillas in the Mist? Did they use real gorillas on Gorillas in the Mist? G-Tara says, even if we were to grant that gorillas in the zoo were... Oh, I read that one. Sorry. No, I didn't. Even if we were to grant gorillas in the zoo are just people in fursuits, what about all the gorillas in the wild? Seems like a lot of people have to be on the payroll. A conspiracy isn't much of a conspiracy if everyone's in on it. Lily Love Stuff says, no one show Hans Occidentals, or Occidentales Karma by Francesco Gabarini live. Don't click the link, it's copyrighted, but if chat wants it. And then Occult Comics says, for anyone who says she isn't a furry, You sure do have a lot of hours of content discussing what it is and isn't a fursuit. Suspect, Hannah, suspect. What did you say about Satan? Devil horns. Sigourney Weaver was attacked by a silverback gorilla for real during filming. There was one silverback named Pablo, Weaver recalls, who was known for dragging women down. Okay, so they did also... Clearly they used suits for some scenes, but it also seems like they used real gorillas and Gorillas in the Mist. So some of the pictures, I'm wondering, obviously the like, promotional photo was fake, but it does make me wonder... Does Hans assume every single gorilla in Gorilla in the Mist is fake, and therefore he's looking at pictures of real gorillas and thinking they're supposed to be fake and saying, they look the same, even though some of these gorillas are legitimately real gorillas? They just happen to be in a movie?
No difference between this and what gets passed off for real gorillas.
Hydrate. Those might be real gorillas! They used real gorillas in the movie!
And you can see some duping delight. A lot of duping delight when it comes to this. It's a big secret, this gorilla suit thing. We got some duper's delight up there. They like strats. They like castrati with a certain look to be these animal whisperers.
Transphobia on the bingo card. Hans thinks a lot of cis women are secretly... I should say most. He believes most people are secretly trans. Yes, really. And he thinks that pretty much every cis woman he ever sees is secretly trans. I know, it's weird.
A lot of horse faces get involved. Just look how ridiculous on the right here, how shiny the face is. That's Duper's Delight. If you know what Duper's Delight is, it's all over that face. That's not like, oh, I'm excited to see gorillas. That's a sinister, that's a creepy looking.
I'm afraid of what I'm going to find Googling this. Oh. Duper's Delight. Emotional booster thrill that some people get when they successfully cheat or deceive another person or organization. She can't just be happy. She must be happy she's lying.
Duper's Delight right there. What's the difference between this and Gorillas in the...
Someone says Hans can't get dates. That's why he thinks all women are trans women. Hans has a kid. Hans is married, to my understanding.
Missed. I think this looks worse. And look at the title. Look at what they title it down here. Yes, he can walk, but just how close is he to being human? Do you get the...
They're talking about the gorilla, you idiot. Hold on, I have to use the bathroom real quick, so I'm gonna throw a quick thing on, just as like a middle pause thing. Where? Sausage guy, maybe? Here, watch this sprinkle sausage while I pee.
It's sprinkle time! YouTube comment suggestions. That's a bushel of sprinkles. Yeah, I guess that had no way of working. We sacrificed a lot of sprinkles to make this sausage. Will it blow? Well, that's another 5 Mark Ruffalos. Let's sausage. Oh, well, all right. Let's open it up and see how we did. It looks like the floor of a movie theater. Here we go. Well, it just tastes like sprinkles, to be honest with you. 1 out of 5.
Bop, 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 bop.
Okay, I'm back.
Hey there, folks, and
Back to Hans.
The joke there, how close is he? He literally is human, because there's no such thing as gorillas. They're actors in fursuits. That's the joke. And they play this joke
You're the joke, Hans.
out. All you have to do is start paying attention, and this gorilla one is so overplayed, how much they like to joke about. The punchline is, it actually is a human. This one looks really bad, in my opinion, but it's supposed to be real. These days, they do a lot of walking. This one's just running. Somebody sent me this. To this day, this is still some of the best evidence I've ever seen. Because this was filmed at a zoo, and I just 100% think that it's really, really obvious that you're watching an actor who they either were...
The proportions on gorillas are nowhere near what the proportions on a human being are, so how does he think that's working?
too tired to continue walking like a fake, like a gorilla, like a...
But he's not even walking like a human. Occult Comics, thanks for subscribing.
No such thing as gorillas, but they either just got too tired to keep the act up, or they thought they were behind that giant bush. And have you ever wondered why the whole giant bush thing here reminds me of when I was young, the San Diego Zoo? They had a gorilla enclosure, and I never remember seeing, or it wasn't the San Diego Zoo, sorry, it was the Wild Animal Park. They had an exhibit, but I never remember there being gorillas there. Like, they just were never there, which is weird. Why would you have an exhibit and just never show them? And
because they're not going to force them out there for you if they're uncomfortable. A lot of zoos have areas where if the animals are not comfortable at the moment, where they can go out of view of the people at the zoo, which is the right thing to do. I don't want to force an animal out into an area it doesn't want to be if it's uncomfortable.
and
he's not a troll, by the way. He's been doing this for years. Not a troll, I assure you.
Also, like this, the gorilla exhibit was just covered with these giant things, with giant bushes, so you just couldn't see what's going on. And
Hans, the animals deserve to be in a place that's like their own natural habitat. It's not great, it's a facsimile of one, but it's better than nothing.
And it's because that's the area where the actors know that they can't be seen anymore. And so that's where they get up and start walking like
that doesn't even make
normal
sense.
humans.
Why would you use a bush for that? If you wanted that, you'd just have a cave or something that goes into a secret employee room. And are we to assume that every zoo on the planet with any sort of ape is full of underpaid actors who presumably file in and out of jobs, as you do in real life, and not one has ever whistleblown on the fake ape conspiracy? Not one disgruntled, underpaid gorilla actor has been like, that's it. I'm telling the world, I was a gorilla.
Anyways, somebody sent me this years ago, and I still think it's some of the best evidence out.
I think he commented on Harambe. Yes, he thought it was a big psyop to, like, convince people gorillas are real.
Out there, at a zoo, clear actor in a suit.
Cats can also walk on two legs sometimes, and they aren't even primates. Gorillas are not bipedal, but that does not mean they are completely physically incapable of any bipedal motion. I can also get down on my hands and knees and walk around. That doesn't make me quadrupedal. It would make me into pet play, though. Bittergrin says that just proves that gorilla actors are paid really, really well. They have a good union. What can I say?
Pretending to be a legitimate wild animal. Ever wonder why those exhibits
Evil
are so
Dead guy with a gif of King Kong.
And they never escape. How they can come in and out of the doors at the same time. You're watching a show. It's just context. They just tell you it's real. That's the only reason you thought it was real. How fake does this one look?
Holy shit, that gorilla is a Chad. The Chad gorilla actor versus the the beta macaque puppet. Macaque, the monkey, not... Never mind.
Really, it looks really awkward in the shoulders, just looks like a suit. This looks like a bad muscle suit. It reminds me of, there's so many over-the-top...
Now who's a furry? Furries are different than pet play. Even I know that.
Have you noticed how when you're watching animal videos on YouTube, there's so many animal-related videos with just like over-the-top Photoshop stuff going on? It's like a joke how bad some of the animal stuff is. Documentaries can get away with some of the worst, most obvious fake stuff. You'll be watching Discovery Channel and you'll see them pass off really bad CGI as being reality. So yeah, I think I've said most. Orangutan, same thing. There's no such thing as great apes.
You best start believing in great apes, Hans. Ye are one.
All these great apes are just actors in suits. And one way that you can wake up to that is go research the top of the line Hollywood suits, and you'll notice that there is no difference. There is
a difference, Hans.
Zero.
Just because you choose not to see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Difference between a Hollywood suit and what they stick behind a zoo exhibit. There's no difference. So what does that mean? What does that mean that there's absolutely no difference between the top of the line Hollywood suits and what you see at the zoo? That it's all about context. The fact that somebody tells you it's real is what makes it real. Not that you can observe some sort of difference. This is a wolf suit.
Which doesn't look like a real wolf. It looks like a wolf stuffed animal.
That thing was really creepy. You can go look up the video. And it is a big joke of having suits that are worse. Not all the suits are created equal, and a ton of work goes into these suits. The most top of the line ones are so expensive. So when you see a pretty good but worse suit looking like this, I'm thinking that it's more...
So like when I was at the zoo, I don't mean to put this out there, but there are videos, like you can go on YouTube and watch videos of people at the zoo with their kids and then they freak out because they see the apes or whatever start jerking each other off or sucking each other off or, you know, weird things apes do. Are those actors fucking each other in front of everyone, including children? Because then they should be in jail, Hans. Joey is Strong says, is my dog a false flag? Also, I've seen monkeys at the zoo pee on each other. Are the actors peeing on each other? Or is that just a feature of the suit?
More of like a renegade. This is just like a small-time special effects company showing you the best that they can do. But
Boppy the Clown says, kangaroos definitely aren't real. They're too combative to not be 12 chihuahuas in a fursuit. D with Goblin says, if you want a good example of an animal that looks like a cartoon, may I recommend you Google Potu Owl. Potu Owl. Ew. Gross. Ugh. I don't like that.
Just imagine the amount of effort that goes into the best suits. I mean, go look at Gorillas in the Mist, honestly.
Which again, I repeat, did use real gorillas in some of the scenes.
It's a really good movie to research for this topic. If this was stuck behind a zoo exhibit, what would people think?
They'd think, why did they put a person in a gorilla suit in the zoo exhibit? Chad Gorilla.
This one looks bad to me. This is like an Asian model.
That's just racist. What the fuck?
I think they tried to make this one look Asian.
Oh, no. That's just racism. Do we just have racism on the bingo card? I don't think we do. We have racist disbelief of historical events, but that's just racist. He's just racist.
And I guess I'll just point out here, I recently saw an article. There was some weird article that was talking about, it said like, gorillas' facial structures vary greatly because of inbreeding. It was weird, but that is a true thing. If you really start to pay attention, you'll notice that unlike any other wild animal out there, where they all generally have the same look, a spider monkey of a certain species looks like basically all the other spider monkeys.
To us, they can differentiate each other, though. Our brains have developed to recognize the faces of other human beings. Right? We've literally evolved to do that. We don't need to know the difference between various different individuals of a different species most of the time, and for the ones we do, we're able to do that. Cats, dogs, you know, domesticated animals. But no, we have never in our history of existing as a species needed to know the difference between different individual animals like that are wild animals. The only thing that matters is this one dangerous to me? Run away or fight. That's what matters. Rublum says, Gorillas in the Mist, a good movie, also a rap song by early 90s group, Da Lynch Mob, or Da Lynch Mob. Haven't heard it.
But when it comes to the great apes, they all have different looks, because they're sculpted, because they're individual sculptures.
Great apes are... It's a group. There's different species within them. You know that, right?
The faces are sculpted. And I especially see this with orangutans. For something that's supposed to be so rare and critically endangered, the amount of diversity in what they look like.
See, this is weird because to me that points in the opposite direction. Why would you spend a bunch of time modeling individual ones when you could just get a mold for one orangutan face and copy it many times? If you were mass manufacturing incredibly expensive suits, that's what you would do. Why would you make them look individually different? Moira Soma says, I once saw a chimpanzee who was completely addicted to having his prostate massaged. He sat on a big tree stump waggling up and down. It was special. Huh. All right, then.
Is just insane. They all look completely different from one another, basically, and they have different goofy human haircuts. And it's because the amount of effort that goes into these things is enormous, so they're individually made. They don't pump out 100 top-of-the-line fursuits that all look identical. Each one has its own story and its own...
Why would they do that? That doesn't even make sense as a conspiracy. Gitara says, also many animals can differentiate between individuals due to sense. Also, he notices that the facial structure of apes are varied. You'd think he'd put two and two together and notice they share that trait with humans. Bittergrin says, having different-looking fursuits is the actors' union contract. They want to recognize themselves in pictures. Yeah, you gotta put it in your portfolio to send to the next zoo you plan on working at.
Its own look and its own... Because they're all a piece of art that took tons of hours of many different people working on them. There's animatronics in the face, etc., etc. I'm rambling at this point, but I'm just making an explanation of why they look so different. Gray apes are not the type of normal animal out there where they all generally look the same. You know, unless you go to something like dogs, which are purposefully being bred to look different. Animals generally look the same, but when it comes to these gray apes, each one looks totally different from the other.
Are you perhaps better at identifying the difference between individual apes because they're closely related to us and we've evolved to tell the difference between humans based on their facial features?
Okay, this was really funny. Chimpanzee at Butterfly Park, Chattogram in Bangladesh. Koko was a really bad... It's the secret. How did Koko communicate? Just like a human, right?
Fun fact, Koko couldn't really speak. It was a scam. Sorry to ruin your day. Lily Love Stuff says, chimps really are just like us, but those bonobos are Daddy Sume horny. Occult Comics says, I genuinely love that part of this conspiracy. As you see, artists love the craft. Each piece takes so much effort and love. Truly, a beautiful craft to fool us all forever, and it's bad. But it's so beautiful, the dedication, the skill. Andy Pretzel says, gorillas rarely walk on two legs unless injured in some way. Their faces are shiny, likely due to sweat or smooth skin. They have a different skeleton and muscle layout that humans do. I feel bad for his partner and child. Yeah. You thought it was sign language? Yeah, she couldn't really speak sign language.
No, you're just being fooled. It was
Like, don't get me wrong, she could do certain signs, like she knew what food was, and if she was hungry, she knew doing this thing with her hands might get her food, but she couldn't actually speak with the complexity that her handler claimed. There's actually a really good video on it online. I think it's just called, like, Koko couldn't really speak or something. It's like an hour-long thing that goes into how her handler used Koko to do really dumb things. Koko's veterinarian that they hired to take care of her was a homeopath. It's fucking crazy. Morok says, next time he'll tell me Pokemon aren't real. They, like, fed Koko all sorts of stuff she shouldn't eat. It was really gross. She got mistreated, unfortunately. Here it is the video. Yeah, why Koko probably couldn't talk. Sorry, a deep dive. Yeah, that's the video.
The person in a suit. How do they get all this footage? Who is taking the footage? That's one of the best questions that you can ask yourself. How are they getting this footage? Who's recording this? And they get so many million-in-one shots. I see this with wildlife.
Let me put it this way. Koko could understand signs in the same way your dog can understand. If you say food, or do you want to go on a walk, they can, like, associate that noise with an action or idea, but they can't chain them together into complex thoughts in the same way. So Koko could make certain symbols and maybe understood there was a relation between a certain hand symbol and food, but didn't understand the relationship between the hand signal and the food. It was just like Pavlovian response type stuff.
Alleged photography all the time. There's so many million-in-one shots where everything is lined up perfect. But if you just take a few seconds to look, you'll realize that it's because somebody photoshopped it that way. How do they get this footage of, like, running beside a gorilla? And if you watch it, you'll be like, dang, this is like a movie. This is like...
That's literally their job. National Geographic, their job to capture footage like that. They've developed their techniques of wildlife photography for decades.
This is like watching an action movie, except I'm supposed to believe that it's a wild gorilla, and they're just getting these perfect shots. I'm going to read a few screenshots before I finish. So this perfectly describes what this video is about, and this is a review of Gorillas in the Mist. I imagine that some of the close-ups of a gorilla's hand clasping weavers were done with Rick Baker's special effects creations. I imagine some of the gorillas in the jungle are real, and some are men inside gorilla suits. But the work is done so seamlessly that I could never be sure. Everything looked equally real to me. That's exactly the point.
That is the idea of special effects, to recreate that, yes.
Rick
Baker is one of the most famous special effects artists to ever live. He was really good at his job. Is he still working, actually? Did he retire? I don't remember, but either way, yeah, he was one of the best in the biz.
There's no difference between what we're told is real and the top-of-the-line Hollywood suits.
That doesn't... Hans, if it was really all suits, why even say they're using suits? Just say, we used all real gorillas, we're just really good at training them. Doesn't make sense.
Absolutely no difference. You cannot tell the difference because there is no difference. And so, of course, in my opinion, there is no such thing.
Oh, did Rick Baker die? Oh god.
As real gorillas in the jungle. And I think that the people making this review probably knew that. Maybe that's why they said that they imagined some of the gorillas in the jungle are real. They didn't say that some of them are real. They said that they imagined they were real. And they might say that if they're just playing along. But the main point is, they're making the point that there's literally no difference between an alleged real gorilla and the fursuits.
In the shots in the movie, not in real life, Hans. He's alive? Okay, good.
I have a few more. It's ridiculous. Look at those suits. I hear all the time about the arms. The arms are too long. They have arm extenders. Here's a great example.
Yeah, but Hans, the hands in these suits aren't articulate. Like, they don't articulate, rather. You say that they're that long, and they articulate exactly like gorilla hands in real life do, which are really complex, just as complex as our hands are with all our phalanges and different musculature and everything. These are cool, and they have extenders, but they're stationary. The knuckles and stuff don't really move the same way that gorilla hands do.
Example of, look how long they can get the arms if they want to. There's a lot of jokes about it where they'll take a slightly worse looking gorilla suit and they'll use it in a way where it's obvious, through context it's obvious that it's fake. But this is a suit that this could pass under certain circumstances.
No, it could not.
If they stuck this suit in the back of an exhibit somewhere and they didn't really move that much, people would totally think it's real. It passes. Research has also found zoo gorillas, so this is great. This is just a really great, it's self-explanatory. I don't even need to explain this at all. Research has also found zoo gorillas act differently when there are lots of people visiting their exhibit. One 2005 study of the gorillas in a zoo in Ireland found that on summer weekends, when an average of 1,300 people visited the zoo per day, the apes were more likely to groom themselves, to be aggressive toward one another, and to clench their teeth repetitively and
It's a stress reaction, Hans. Grooming in animals there are a lot of reasons animals groom, but a primary one is stress. Grooming comes out of stress, and the fact that there's also increased aggressive behavior and showing teeth, which is a sign of territorial dispute or aggression, is because they're stressed out. They're stressed out that so many strange people and beings are coming by to look at them. It's stressful.
Rock back and forth. On winter weekdays, when 10 or fewer people would visit daily, they spent significantly more time resting.
Because they weren't as anxious, they weren't as freaked out, they weren't as scared.
So, a 2011 study of another zoo's gorillas found that when it was busier and noisier in their enclosure, the apes were more likely to stare, posture, and charge at people.
Again, all territorial, aggressive behavior out of these apes. Expected when a lot of other random apes without fur come traipsing through their environment that they consider their territory.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Because they're territorial, Hans. This video's almost over, by the way. I know it's been going on for a long time.
There are so many stories just like this, and you get an extra chuckle if you know the truth. Veterinarian mistakenly shoots zoo employee in gorilla suit. Drills of this sort aren't just monkey business. They're a common occurrence at zoos around the world. See hilarious photos and videos of zookeepers in Japan wrangling a guy in a less realistic gorilla suit earlier this year.
They're comparing the realism of that gorilla suit to the other gorilla suit previously mentioned in the article. A big unifying factor of a lot of the conspiracy theorists I read is a lack of reading comprehension. It seems like a serious issue. Lack of textual literacy, being able to understand the meaning of media and derive meaning from it as it's being sent and received, and also lack of just literal literacy in the sense of being able to derive meaning from text. Lack of reading comprehension in general.
See, even this, they're pointing out that they're just less realistic. what people think of as a gorilla suit is just a less realistic gorilla suit than the really, really realistic ones that get passed off as being real, even though there's no such thing. Go back in time. Go back and research the famous gorillas of old and how they don't pass by today. They would never stick something like this behind a zoo today. They would never stick this up to be...
Looks like a gorilla.
Scrutinized closely today. But this used to pass as a legit gorilla back in the day. Gargantua. Go look up the story of...
I'm sorry, Olive, the water... I gotta plug in the water fountain. Oliver wants some.
Of Gargantua. The amazing story of Gargantua, the fursuit. And it's not the first story. You know, they keep doing these stories over and over. And a lot of it is... It's a big answer in my mind to the question of... They try to get people sucked into these stories with emotions. They purposefully put them in small cages, and they purposefully trap them inside their whole life, like Koko, and make you feel sorry for them. Oh, they can't be a gorilla out in the wild, and oh, they're in those dirty cages all the time. It's like that makes you...
Yeah, that is genuinely sad. It's not a hoax. It's just really, really sad.
Believe in them more. When you...
Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the reasons for, like, animal sanctuaries and, like, places for us to take in injured animals and heal them and stuff, but, like, so many zoos are not equipped to deal with animals. It's really sad. Sky Comet fallen with a cleanse. Oh god, what's this? Okay. We'll look at that later. After this video is done, actually, we'll take a look. If we can find where it went. It's in here. There we go.
You feel sorry for it. If you feel sorry for a fursuit, you're not even going to consider that it's a fursuit. You're going to think it's a real thing. I think that's all I had to read. Yeah. Look how bad these ones are. Orangutans are bad.
That's a real orangutan. I don't know what to tell you, Hans.
Real bad. And a lot of times the ones at like more third world that you go, the suits start looking way more rough and...
Yikes. Morok says, important with a link. Kitty looks like it has a mustache. Hans is a lot of racist shit in this video, you notice that?
They'll do campier things. I know in the third world they like having their
Hans, the preferred nomenclature is developing countries.
Fursuits like smoke cigarettes and stuff. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of viral videos of stuff like this too, where people like throw their sunglasses into the thing and the orangutan plays around.
Like, does he think all animals are just idiots? Apes are really smart. They're really smart. They can figure out how to put on glasses or play with them or figure out how to sip from a juice box, especially if it's like reward oriented, like smoking a cigarette where, you know, you smoke a cigarette, you get... I guess I've never actually smoked a cigarette, so I don't know what people get from smoking cigarettes, but apparently it feels great because people do it all the time. It hits their reward centers or whatever. So if you give an ape something that tastes good and they figure out how to taste it, they're gonna learn that behavior. If you give them cigarettes and teach them how to do it, they're gonna learn that behavior because it makes them feel good.
Around with them. It's probably some baffo who knows, and that's why they probably purposefully did it, knowing, oh yeah, this actor is gonna put on a show to try to look human, because that's their job. They need to look human. They need to put on a show. I mean, I just answered the question of that article that talked about why don't they do anything when there's only 10 people there. It's because they're not going to put on a show for 10 people. And why they go crazy when all the people are there. They're putting on a show. God bless everyone.
So that's another classic from Hans WorHat. Think gorillas are fake. I missed him. Hold on, I gotta leave a comment. I missed your... Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I missed your animal videos, Hans. Please do more. Comment. Okay, so that's Hans. Let's do a cleanse.
So it's Gladys's first birthday. and we're making preparations to do a little celebration behind the scenes here at Gorilla World. We're going to do it in this area right here, which is actually the same area we used for Gladys's surrogacy project. We had it set up as our nursery facility. Gladys was raised in here adjacent to the other gorillas, and we're going to set it up today for her birthday celebration. We're having a special cake made, not the kind of cake you would buy at Buskin, but one we make in-house here. Our curator of nutrition, Barbara Henry, is making a special cake made out of things like rice and raisins. We have some special gorilla chow biscuits mixed in there. She's making an icing out of pureed bananas and sweet potatoes. We've even carved a candle out of a sweet potato, a #1 candle. So
that's really
cute. It's quite an elaborate cake. It's a big cake because Gladys is going to share it with her surrogates, Malindsay, Mara, Samantha, and Chewy. So I think we're all set up. Let's let them on in and see what we get. Looks like Malindsay's going to enjoy some cake first. I'm sure Gladys will get her fair share soon enough. You know, one of the great things about having Gladys here at the Cincinnati Zoo is she gives us a great opportunity to talk about in situ conservation. Very important work we do here at the Cincinnati Zoo. We've been supporting wild gorilla research for about 15 years now, particularly at a place in the Republic of Congo called the Nubali-Ndoke project, the Mbele Bai study specifically, where they do research on wild western lowland gorillas, the same kind we have.
I understand the conservation. I know, but I feel so bad for these animals having to be in this tiny room.
Here in zoos.
And I'm sure they let them out and have like an environment and stuff. I know. It's just like,
So by having gorillas,
I don't like seeing animals like this in a concrete room, period. It just makes me depressed.
At the zoo, and particularly Gladys, who is so popular, gives us a great chance to give you guys that important information, and it also gives you guys a chance to help out a little bit more if you like. One of the great action steps you can take to help us out here at the zoo is recycling old cell phones with us. Not a lot of people realize it, but there's a mineral used in all of our cell phones, which is mined from gorilla habitat. So by recycling phones with us, we help reduce the need for that mineral to be taken from the wild, and the money we make off of those cell phones we put right back into our wild gorilla conservation works.
Reminder that Hans thinks these are fake somehow. I just want to remind you, based on the video we just watched, Hans thinks these gorillas are fake.
Find a lot of good information about all the things we do here.
Like, how does he think they're faking this?
Out here at the zoo is recycling.
Did they put a baby in a gorilla suit?
Old cell phones with us. Not a lot of people realize it, but there's a mineral used in all of our cell phones, which is mined from gorilla habitat. So by recycling phones with us, we help reduce the need for that mineral to be taken from the wild, and the money we make off of those cell phones we put right back into our wild gorilla conservation works. You can find a lot of good.
Cute. Alright, I'm gonna pull the water thing again since he's gone. Someone sent me this. I don't remember who, but thanks. This is some sort of Australian thing, I think, related to conspiracy theories. Hydrate.
So, like, is there a Crystal City in the middle of Australia?
The question we've all been asking ourselves.
They were told, you've got an inland city, what are you doing here?
That's some didgeridoo music. Tea with Goblin says, that was me? Oh, thank you.
They went there for one reason, and it wasn't to find new land. Do you know why they did this? Because all the convicts were doing runners, weren't they?
Yeah, they're all taking off because they heard a rumour
By the original people that you people have been here before. There are major cities, there are major civilizations in the middle.
Okay, so the Australian outback let me show you something real quick. Australian population map. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a ton about Australia, but I do know this. Australia's population, the vast majority of it, is located in cities along the coasts of Australia, right? Or near adjacent to the coast, as you can see in maps like this. Maps like this. If you'll notice, the center of Australia, pretty sparse. Pretty darn sparse. This is a good one. It'll show it. This is because a lot of Australia, not the funnest place to live. The Australian outback is Mad Max. It's Mad Max. There's a reason Mad Max is Mad Max, and the reason is Australia. So for some reason, these people appear to think that the Australian outback has secret crystal cities hidden in it, instead of just being a really, really inhospitable place to live. I don't know. Tea with Goblin says, I've been to the center of Australia. Do you know what's there? Desert. Lots of it. All of it inhabited for millennia by the Aboriginal people.
So yes, it is there. I suppose it's like Shambhala.
They were told, you've got an inland city, what are you doing here? Go up there where you belong with your mob. So that's where they were going.
So what we have suggested as a premise is that the reason our Indigenous brothers and sisters had no recollection of these massive built, dead, empty city structures in their history or their artwork is because they simply existed on a different frequency band and did not see them.
How about we didgeridoo? Let's not like colonialist explain things to Aboriginal peoples. Can we not go and be like, "Hi, I'm a white person. We've taken your land. By the way, did you know there were crystal cities that you aren't on the right vibration to see? Holy shit, I hate it."
Tartare could still be there, fully functioning.
Yep.
Is this Tibetan throat singing? This is didgeridoo music.
We just can't see it. We're on the wrong wavelength.
We tend to talk about the past as a future, and therefore they're telling this mob, what are you hanging around here for? You got your spot in the middle, go back there.
If you think of a ceiling fan, and when it's still, you see all the blades. But when you put it on super high, they disappear. But they're still there.
That's because of basically the frame rate of... Frame rate isn't the right word, considering it's the eye. It's sort of like because of the refresh rate of the human eye. It has nothing to do with magic or dimensions or free... It's just our eyes only perceive things at a certain refresh rate, basically.
It's the same thing. When we find our frequency, it's here.
That's a Stargate.
I guess basically Tartaria consciousness is building evidence that there is a 5D realm right where we are, and there always has been potentially. And in fact, it got lost
thanks
to
for
us
gifting us
because
up.
we got wiped. Our minds got wiped. The programming happened.
And of course, all of this stuff is part of the real history of our country.
There's another source inside, but we have to really connect with it. And if you open up enough, it literally changes the way you see the world.
We just don't see the illusion anymore, and everyone else who's stuck in the AI down there, they live in that time loop thing. And then actual reality, if you want to call it that, is going to start showing itself to us.
So when they were doing a discipline, their frequency would rise because we would do a breath work to move the energy, the Kundalini energy up your spine in the
Did we already do word salad? If not, word salad on the bingo card.
your brain, and it activates your midbrain and helps you change your frequencies.
You know, where you don't have attitude about it. It's so lofty, you haven't formed a belief structure that's limiting your perception, right? So with us going to the desert, it has to be done magically and nonsensically. And if we can do that within our own beings, whatever that means for us, and find ourselves at a place, I think we've got the amazing potential of experiencing a moment like They Live, the movie They Live, where...
Oh god, reference to They Live on the bingo card? Reference to the movie They Live on the bingo card. God damn it. I'm also feeling pretty uncomfortable with the use of, like, Aboriginal music to elicit sort of this mystical, otherworldly magic vibe. Also pretty racist.
Where we actually put our sunglasses on, and there it is. Be scared, nefarious ones, because we have woken up to the truth. That there is some magic afoot and waking up here in Australia. God damn it, magic is waking up here in Australia.
Laugh more, it's raising your frequency. You have to walk through this challenge. You have to overcome these limitations of perspective in order to go to some higher consciousness, higher perspective. Say we're not really seeing with our eyes, we're receiving into our brain.
That doesn't mean anything. Tea with Goblins says, while we have far less Bible thumpers and religious lunatics here, we do have a particularly obnoxious brand of racist white New Agers. There is woo aplenty down under, unfortunately. Yeah, I can see that.
Summer solstice? Yeah. Good date. We'll all get out there, dance around the fire a bit, see what happens, and then go and yell at a Crystal City to appear.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna get high as balls.
I mean, I think
they are absolutely bringing every hallucinogenic drug they can get their hands on.
I think we can follow the path of the original people and actually like attempt. And I think in order to do that, we have to find ourselves at that location using magic.
I think they're gonna find it with the help of LSD. They're gonna find that Crystal City. I believe in them.
So, yes, we're going to go out to the desert. Anyone who's interested or happens to have, I don't know, own a gorge in Central Australia.
Do I think a normal person could survive the amount of psychedelics these people consume daily? Mentally, no.
Let us know. 21st December.
Yep, 21st December.
It's where evolution is taking us. Where it's always been taking us.
And I swear to God, you won't all be going, oh my God, a holographic 5D Rainbow City. You'll all be going, fuck!
5D! Did she do 5D? 5D on the bingo card. Wait, no, is 4D on the bingo card or is 5D? Whichever one it is. 5D, she said it. 5D on the bingo card.
I have to go to the desert now.
Good ending. Good ending. Yes, this channel is saved. Save this channel. Conspiracy folk. Great. Man, I have to pee again already. It's not diabetes, by the way. It's Spiro. It's a pill that makes me urinate a lot. What was I going to search? No, I wouldn't call that racist disbelief of historical achievements. I'd just call it racist. Which isn't on the bingo card. What was I gonna search just for a quick video? Everything is terrible. They probably have something I could put on for a second. Okay, I'll be right back.
Come. I'd do anything for Jesus. I found over 1,700 times in the Word of God where this word is used, come, and that's not cometh and the rest of the comes, but that's just come. Preaching my heart out for 45 minutes to an hour on that one word, come. And it was one of our Lord's favorite words. Come unto me. Come and drink. Come and dine. Jesus said, come, come, and come, 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 and it goes on and on and on. I know this is dumb, friends, but there are people that still haven't got it, so bear with me. When I say come, it means come. And I'm coming, you're coming. When I turn to my son and I say come, I want them to come. That word come is universal in its application. Come. What did Jesus say to his disciples? Come. There's no room for discussion, friend. Guess what? Come, come. It commands obedience. Come, come, come. How many have had the Holy Ghost come in you? You come, come. He was crucified for you. He died for you. He did everything for you. It's time for you to come. He's come. He's already come. He wasn't just a baby in a manger, friend. That was God coming. I love the way the Christmas story starts out, because God came and then the wise men had to come. The shepherds had to come. And ever since Jesus came, he said, I've done my part. Now you come. You come. I came. You come quickly. What is this hesitating stuff? That's demonic, friend. You're going to die. And one day when you die, you're going to be with him whether you like it or not. And I don't want him to look at me when I die and say, I've been calling you all your life. Now through death, you had to come. I said, come, 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 come. For those of you that don't believe that, friend, you need to read your Bible. To his disciples, come.
So true. How about this flat earther talking about the Cavendish experiment? So, for those who don't know, the Cavendish experiment is a famous experiment developed by, I think his last name was Cavendish, Henry Cavendish, thank you, YouTube description, in 1797, the goal of which I believe was to calculate the gravitational constant. The gravitational constant is what allows us in many, many math and physics equations, or specifically, physics equations, to understand certain concepts. So if you ever see G in a physics equation, it is the gravitational constant. Like if you're calculating buoyancy, you need the gravitational constant, right? So he calculated this using metal balls that were, I don't remember the exact way it looked, but they're sort of on this arm, and over time, slowly, they come together, because if you don't know, everything that is mass, everything with mass attracts everything else. So even though it doesn't look like it, this is attracted to this. It's just that it's not strong enough to actually make them go to each other. Gravity is a relatively weak force within the universe, not to be confused with the weak force, which is a different thing that has to do with nuclear energy, I think, as opposed to strong force. Anyway, all that aside, the point is to say this experiment helped find the gravitational constant, which is very important to physics, okay? Flat earthers do not like this experiment, because this experiment shows that gravity is real, and a lot of flat earthers don't believe in gravity. So, let's take a look at this quick video and see what he has to say about the Cavendish experiment. Lily Lovestuff says, Cavendish experiment isn't that the name of the show about the old folks home Somni watched in Cloud Atlas? I don't know. I've only seen Cloud Atlas once, and I think I was very drunk. It was years ago.
In 1797, Henry Cavendish, the British scientist, Freemason, and wealthy grandson of the Duke of Devon.
Freemason on the bingo card. I think we already had it, but just in case.
Shire created an experiment which he claimed successfully proved the existence of gravity, measured its constant, and provided accurate figures for the exact masses of the Earth, Sun, Moon, and planets. How did Cavendish achieve this quantum leap for heliocentric pseudoscience?
Recognizing that the sun is the center of the solar system isn't pseudoscience, it's literally science.
He fixed 2 large lead balls on opposite ends of a torsion balance and hung them from the roof of his shed. By watching and recording slight motions of the contraption via telescope through his shed window so his mass would not affect the reading, Cavendish claimed to have proven gravity.
He did. Don't get me wrong, gravity had been shown to exist prior to that, you know, when things fall down. But yes, he was able to calculate the gravitational constant. Not only this, but you can actually reproduce this experiment. People do it in high schools and colleges all over the country every day. Cavendish experiment. Is there a kit you can buy to do it yourself? I'm genuinely curious. Yeah. You can buy your own for your own school or college or whatever that allows you to do the Cavendish experiment, apparently. So that's cool. So you can do this experiment yourself. If you're a flat earther, do it then. If you want to disprove it, reproduce the experiment. That's how science is supposed to work. Dirtjer says, I don't like Freemasons. They tend to be of a lesser quality than the ones you buy. Budooch. No, wait, hold on. I gotta get my money out of this one. I didn't spend $5 on this keyboard not to use it. Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Okay. Worth it.
2 small lead balls were hung near the large ones, and any motion observed towards one another was touted as being the influence of gravity.
He knows this experiment wasn't only performed once, right? Again, like I said, this experiment is performed all the time, and everyone gets the same result. Because gravity is real!
Now, the Cavendish experiment has been widely criticized by the scientific community because never in over 2 centuries since its creation has anyone been able to replicate it.
That's absolute horseshit! People replicate the Cavendish experiment every single day! What are you talking about? That's... I say a lot about flat earthers and how, like, a lot of them buy into this bullshit. That is literally just a lie. That is a lie. It's not even just like, oh, he misconstrued something. That's a lie. He is lying to your face.
Firstly, the balls simply do not always attract one another, as they must, for the so-called gravitational constant to be constant at all. Sometimes the torsion...
I think an important thing to point out here, too, is that the gravitational constant... See, a big part of science is its predictive capability. Models work if they're able to successfully predict outcomes before events happen, right? So, for instance, using the gravitational constant and knowing the mass of something, you can know different things about its properties and how it will react under different situations. For instance, calculating buoyancy involves the gravitational constant. So you can test the gravitational constant by using the formula for buoyancy, applying it to an object that you know the mass of, then testing its actual real-world buoyancy against your predictions and see that the prediction was correct. There is zero way for the prediction to be correct if the gravitational constant is fake or incorrect. Do you understand? Literally, foundational stuff about physics, about like Newtonian physics, are based upon the gravitational constant. You get that, right?
Torsion balance turns towards the balls, and sometimes away, as it is impossible not to give some slight tremulous motion when interacting with it. Henry even complained in his notes how often as he was performing the measurement, the contraption was still in oscillation. Secondly, since his calculated force of gravity was 10 to the 39th power weaker than the force of electromagnetism, from which all material objects are composed, there is no control for the experiment, which...
Holy shit. Okay, what? You think every object is made of electromagnetism? Did he just say that? Does he think everything is electromagnetism? Is he doing the electric universe thing? There's some flat earthers who believe everything is electromagnetism. No. It's known and well known that gravity is a weak force relative to other forces like electromagnetism. Like I said, weak force, strong force. Gravity is weaker than weak force, to my understanding, which is a little ironic. But, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You still derived the gravitational constant from it. Once you derive the gravitational constant and can use it 100% of the time for successfully predicting different events, you got it. You nailed it. You nailed it. It's nailed.
Which can factor out and positively differentiate the alleged gravitational force from the known, stronger electromagnetic force. In other words, the balls could simply be attracting each other through static electricity.
They're not!
A known force existing in all things, billions of times stronger than gravity, and impossible to control for the experiment.
And on what are you basing that claim? Have you tested this claim? Test the claim! You can't just make a claim! Someone else tested the Cavendish experiment. Many people have. Have you done an experiment?
Even though no one could replicate Cavendish's findings, the
Again, lie.
Experiment went down in history as a great success, and is still taught as veritable proof of universal gravitation.
Because it is. It's an experiment that shows that gravity exists between every object with mass. You can do the experiment yourself. Go do it.
In science textbooks today.
Well, that was a short but frustrating video. That's the same guy who believes dinosaurs aren't real, by the way, that we watched the other day. So fun. Bittergrin says, how do they think relative density works without gravity existing? I've never understood that. That's a good question. I don't know, because density functions the way it does in terms of, like, buoyancy, because denser objects experience a greater gravitational force, because gravitational force is relative to your mass. If you have a bigger mass, you're attracted more to other objects, right? So that's why, for instance, when you put oil and water in something, the oil settles, I think, at the bottom because it's denser, because it's experienced a stronger gravitational force. The water is experienced lesser, so it's pulled less, so it's at the top, right? Buoyancy has everything to do with gravity, right? But they don't seem to understand that. It's very weird. Chaotic Vega, thanks for coming to the stream. Appreciate it. They have shitty reading comprehension, I guess. Oh god, he's got an hour-and-a-half history of Flat Earth video. Oh my god, he's got a 6-hour Flat Earth documentary.
2, 1, 0.
Do we want to sit here for 6 hours and watch this?
Unrestrained license of the imagination, and the building up of a complicated conjuration of absurdities, such as to overawe the simpleton and make him gape with wonder, to deceive even those
gape, you say?
Who truly believe their assumptions to be facts. We have been taught that
God, if I ever do a subathon, which I might at some point, I'm thinking, like, before I have my bottom surgery, I'm probably going to end up doing a subathon, because I'm going to be out of commission for a week or two. while I'm recovering, at least the first part of my recovery. So in order to make up for it, I might do a subathon or something. Maybe we'll watch the really long Flat Earth videos for that or something. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're done for today. No one won bingo. That's a shame. I guess I'll gift it to someone random then, since no one won. Gift a sub. Who we gift it to? It's gonna be random. Enjoy the sub, random person. Let's see who it does. Johnny Dice. Johnny Dice. You won the random gift sub because no one won bingo today. You'll match the sub? That would be nice of you. Thank you. So let's see who we're going to raid, and then we'll call it a night. I will be back tomorrow for another stream. Rublum, thanks for gifting a sub to Cryptosporidium 457. Nice. I can't wait for Destroy All Humans 2 Remastered to come out. Speaking of your name. I love the first remastered. It's very nostalgic. Alright, let's see who we're gonna rate. Is Cirrus still going? Jesus. What's Quest Authority doing? Oh my god, a hype train just kicked off.
In China.
Do I have to... I guess we'll wait for the hype train to end. The stream is gonna go until the hype train ends, apparently. Princess Amelia, thanks for gifting a sub. 69% to level 1. So, what do we do while we're waiting for the hype train to end? I don't know, let's watch this guy's videos.
Why are there so few of us
Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub, getting us over level 1.
posting about the Freemasons and the secret societies? You know? Why is that? Everybody willing to post about all kinds of other shit.
By the way, I need to share some exciting news with everyone. I'm finally having my meds adjusted tomorrow. I have an appointment tomorrow to go get my hormones adjusted, and they are upping both my Spiro and my estrogen. And I'm very excited, and I'm going to talk to them about maybe getting on progesterone, which I've heard good things about. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for 45 bits, says, I guess now is a perfect time to use my bits. And Bittergrin, thanks for gifting a sub. So that'll be good. I'm very excited for that.
Shit, but you won't post about the actual core, the common denominator of everything, the Freemasons. That is the common denominator of all the evil in the world, all the war, all the starvation, all the taxation, everything, the poisons, the medicines, the electric cars, the oil, all the...
Wait, does he also think electric cars are evil? That's a weird theme of this stream. 30% to level 2.
This bullshit, right? Where's our free energy? Freemasons took it away from us.
Where's our free energy? Outside of the possible laws of physics. What are you talking about? There's no such thing as a free lunch, thermodynamically speaking. You need to get energy from somewhere. You can't just create it. Ravenwolf with 100 bits says, hi, Hannah, at work and enjoying your streams on lunch break. Nice. Hope work is going all right.
Right? Common core. Freemasons. You know? The whole court system. Freemasons. Everything. It's all Freemasons. The movie business. Freemasons. Common the world. All the war.
Wait, did he just show the Mandalorian? Mountain Megatherium, thanks for gifting a sub. Rachology with 100 bits says, listen to the moon. Moose. The moose knows the truth. 69% to level 2. Nice.
All this bullshit, right? Where's our free energy? Freemasons took it away from us. Right? Common core. Freemasons. You know? The whole court system. Freemasons. Everything. It's all Freemasons. The movie business. Freemasons. Call them what you want. I call them Freemasons. Peace. 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 People have been asking, how can I tell someone's a Mason? How can I tell? It's very easy. Learn the numbers. It's very simple. It's only 9 numbers. And then when you see it, you know, 155. Porsches burn at sea. You point
that was weird ADR.
to your friend and you say, look, 9/11. And then see how they react. It's that simple. Anybody who refutes this language is a secret society member.
Oh no, I guess I'm in a secret society. It was so secret even I didn't know.
Okay, this is man's first language. Just say, look, whoa, look, 155 million. Porsches burned at sea. Isn't that 9/11? Doesn't that mean end the awakening? Say that to your friend. You'll find out if they're secret society. Anyhow, look what God made. Wow.
Well, that's just insane. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. 97% to level 2.
Let me tell you this, secret society members. There is no outlet for you. You are fucking busted. The digger eye deep, everything is connected to Freemasons. The digger eye deep. The digger eye deep. Everybody's going to start digging soon, you watch. It's only going to be a matter of time before people realize how fun it is crunching these numbers. Everything I study in history ends up being like 9/11. So you guys have been trying to keep people asleep forever. The Bible's all 9/11. Everything's fucking 9/11. End the awakening. Numbers, people, numbers. There's only one universal language, and that's numbers. If you don't speak it, then you don't live in this universe. But anyways, Freemasons, there is no outlet for you. I promise you that. It's coming, and you're gonna lose. I'm just trying to get this to court, but every court's so corrupt I can't even get it into court. But it's going to court, isn't it? It's happening right in front of your eyes, Freemasons. It's happening right in front of your eyes. It's going to the public court. No outlet.
Stone Corbell with 50 bits says, everything is 9/11. Everything is Freemasons. Moose, moose. Ah! 30 seconds left on the hype train. Bitter Grin with 100 bits says he needs a therapist. I know, right? Level 2 complete? Wow. Surprised people are still doing the hype train. I appreciate it. MMO Addicted with 45 bits. Hey, how you doing? Says, hey there, Hannah just got up and about to head to work. Update, Alicia will have to attend like 1-2 semesters of classes and pay a fee to get her degree recognized. Got a baby carriage from a friend with delayed payment. Taking the kids to get vaxxed tomorrow and to go clothes shopping Friday. Good. That's not too bad. 1-2 semesters. I mean, it's not ideal, but still much better than it could have been. So that's good. I'm glad to hear things are going all right, all things considered. Rageology with 100 bits says everything is 9/11 except here where it was 11/9. 11% to level 3. Who else can we watch that's quick? Ooh, this lady.
Hey there, everybody. It is day 432. I'm Cindy K. Courier. This is a universal public service announcement and a public order. Public order number 432.1, banning the use of electromagnetic and radio frequency field technologies. Whereas technologies that utilize electromagnetic and radio frequency fields, such as Wi-Fi, cell towers, and smart meters, are determined to have adverse effects on human health and wildlife, be it known that the use, production, or maintenance of any such technologies violates natural law and is hereby banned, effective immediately.
Wow. All electromagnetic frequencies are banned. That's a shame.
Civilian National Guard is summoned to aid and assist in executing and enforcing this order under the command of natural law sheriffs, where natural law sheriffs are available. Issued this day 432. Signed Cindy K. Courier, Court of Ages, America the Nation, Reign of Earth. And so, it is.
Yeah, she's been putting out a lot of these lately.
Hey there, everybody. It is day 427.
11%
I'm Cindy
level 3.
K. Courier. This is a universal public service announcement and a public order. Public order number 427.2, Child Protective Services Disbandment Orders. Whereas the activities of Child Protective Services are found to involve child sex trafficking and or pedophilia, all Child Protective Services are hereby ordered to immediately cease, desist, and disband all
She thinks CPS are pedos? Bittergrin with 100 bits says, so only technologies are banned, so the sun is fine, but flashlights are illegal. Got it. Rageology says, does that include the electromagnetic fields we just got told holds everything together? Yes, everything's about to explode. Guyish with 100 bits, 26% to level 3.
operations worldwide. Civilian National Guard are hereby summoned to aid and assist in executing and enforcing this order forthwith. Whereas Clause 10 of the Armistice
Civilian National Guard means she wants to basically whip up a mob.
in Accord of November 22, 2013 states, Armistice initiates ascended reorientation to intra- and interpersonal relationships within the hearts and minds of all heirs of creation upon receipt. And whereas the conditions set forth by the heirs of creation through court order in the Armistice and Accord have been breached. And whereas Clause 6 of the Armistice states, breaches of these clauses shall result in reprisals. And whereas, according to international law, a reprisal is an act of restoration, short of war, for damage or loss suffered. And whereas, through the letters patent of December 15, 2013, a wholly indemnified court, the Court of Ages, was established. And whereas the will of each heir of creation is assured by the law of nature, now therefore be it resolved by the Court of Ages, on behalf of all heirs of creation, that immediate action be taken to disband all child protective services worldwide. Order issued this day, 4/27. Signed, Syndicate Courier, Court of Ages.
Jesus Christ. You caught a shiny Zubat? Rad. 30 seconds left in the hype train. MMO Addicted with 45-bit says, should anyone wish to support their relocation from Ukraine, here's my PayPal. I'm sorry for asking, but I'm out of money until the 20th and running on loans. Thanks to all y'all's help, things aren't as desperate as they were, but still far from peachy. Yeah, go ahead and donate to MMO Addicted. If it's between the hype train and MMO Addicted, do MMO Addicted. MMO Addicted needs it for actual real-life things. Good hype train, everyone. Alright. Let's do a raid. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow. I hope to see you there. I'm not sure what kind of stream we're doing. If you have any ideas, recommend stuff to me on Twitter, @HannahReloaded. Just at me with videos or topics you want me to cover, and I'll consider them. Other than that, that's it. Thanks very much for coming to the stream. I had a lot of fun. This was a good Tinfoil Tuesday. Hope to have another good one next week. We'll be streaming tomorrow. Thursday I'll be doing D&D. And then Friday... Hold on. Friday I'll be streaming. Saturday I won't, because Saturday is my birthday, so I'm going to take that off and spend the day with Baja. Sunday I'm streaming, and then, you know, we'll deal with the rest later. Alright, see you guys later. Have a good night.
This